Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the evil that men do. Father God, I pray and ask that you help me to have mercy on others the same way I would want you to have mercy on me. Father God, I also ask that you help me to be quick to forgive and slow to get angry. Amen, amen, amen. These young dudes out here don't respect shit until you put the barrel in their ear and let the text spit. I just might catch a case on my next hit, remove their whole face on some special effect shit. So show respect, trick, or I'ma have a flashback. Digging through the dresser like, fuck it, where my mask at? The mash back with the banger and damage shit and say fuck everything I learned in anger management. Hop back on some east side manage shit and push a nigga's top back when I let the cannon spit. Start planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again, rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like a hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound, and I shoot quicker than ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Gun on me, it ain't never for show, homie. I'm far from a bully, but I'm never a hoe. Get out of line, my Beretta will blow. Real talk, we can take the beef wherever we go. I bring it to your front door like I'm Uber Eats. I guarantee you listen up when this Ruger speaks. Plus I maneuver through these streets like a ghost, and I'm handy with the heat. I cook a nigga like a roast. On me, homie, this is not a boast. I will still come through, boy, and stop a nigga's post. Play him close, man, Eric will ease it. Quickly off the waistband, man, and Eric will squeeze it. Leave you niggas laid out dead or paraplegic. Niggas playing in these streets while I'm very strategic. I come to your house dressed like the gas man. Shoot you 9 times, leave you stretched by the trash can. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. I don't put shit on Facebook, I just holler in person. Put the pistol in your mouth while you're hollering and cursing. All that shit you kept rehearsing and put on your live. Got your clap with the big 4-5, you bitch nigga. If you tell me to pull up, I'ma do that. That nigga who was whooping first nigga that I shoot at. Ski mask on my face, bystanders be like, who that? I ain't with the talking, bitch boy, I thought you knew that. Leave his brains where my shoe at and bounce like I'm on a trampoline. Leave you laid out, nigga, like you camping on the scene. If you want something sweet, grab a peach or tangerine. Niggas won't smoke, well fuck it, I'ma let them handle steam. AR with the beam, you see the red dot? We tug on this trigger, nigga, it'll make your head pop. Blood pouring down to your shoes, call it Red Sox. Your brains hanging all over your shoulders like some dreadlocks. Expect the gang of dead off if they ever cross the line. The Lord said in the Bible, oh, revenge is mine. So I'm just trying to find a righteous path between the two. Before I lose control and do the shit I used to do. This being humble shit is new. I'm trying to turn the other cheek, but I ain't never been a bitch, so watch your mouth when you speak. Your mercy's what I seek, so I pray on bended knees. Don't let me get the K with the extended clip and squeeze. Lord, please. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Ay. It was hard, man. I tried to get let critically drinking go as long as I could, man. But I finally had to just come on over here and I had to come on over here and get the show started, y'all. But shout out to Arshawn and the crew over there, man. They keep me going through the afternoons, man. When I'm at my job, I can listen on my phone. Plug it into the truck and listen most of the time. But shout out to them, man. They were having a good discussion over there about a lot of different topics. But one of the ones that really is intriguing to me was what to do with these people that step over the line and these sex offenders, you know, man, people that, you know, they just have a compulsion to do creepy stuff. So what can we do about that? What can we do about that? So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. Next thing we're going to talk about is what we're going to talk about before that is, y'all, I'm so done with pearly things. I am just so done with this chick. I don't know why everybody keeps talking about this chick, man. I don't get it. People don't realize that she's a what's the word I want to use, man? Privileged young white female, and she's gonna say stuff that people that don't live in the real world is gonna say from time to time. What's the big deal? But we gonna get into that, y'all. We gonna get into that, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Brother Eric. Glad to have Brother Eric. Still doing his song, man. Relapse, going through, telling us that anybody can relapse. Ain't none of us too good to be able to relapse. None of us can come at anybody else and say, "Oh, I'm good. I'm better than you," or anything like that, man. We got to remember, any one of us could relapse at any time. You know what I mean? So that's why your connection to God is so important. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Because just because you got a nice big car and a fancy house, don't mean you don't need God no more. Well, I don't need God no more because I know everything now. No, you don't. No, you don't. And you just a diagnosis away from disaster. All of us are. All of us are a diagnosis away from disaster. So we got to keep asking God to protect us in a wicked world like this. Is a wicked world with wicked people, and we gotta ask God to help us. We gotta ask God to help us, man. We gotta ask God to help us. Yeah, man. My hat. I have my hat, man. I don't know what I did with it. Oh man. Woo. Okay, yeah. There we go. All right. Let's see. Shout out to Brother Eric. Go on over and check out Eric at 16 to Life, the YouTube page, man. Check him out. And if you like it, man, you know what I'm saying, give him a like on one of the videos or subscribe or whatever, man. But just get a brother a shot, man. Good dude, man. Good dude. And we're gonna bring Brother Eric back, and we're gonna bring him up here, and we're gonna check in with him, see how he's doing so far. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's check everybody in. First on the board is Sister Annie. Shout out, Sister Annie. Excuse me. Y'all talking about the word. I'm coming up there, right? Shout out, Sister Annie. I had to tell her, man, hey, Sister Annie, I'm still on the porch. I ain't going nowhere. She said, Clarence, get back on that porch, Clarence. I'm like, I'm running back. Yes, Sister Annie. I'm running back on the porch, right? Shout out, Sister Annie. That's my Taurus sister, man. I don't mess with them Tauruses, man. Sister Annie's all nice and sweet, man, but give her the right poke. She went all on you like white on rice, as my father used to say, right? But she's a good sister, man. Shout out to sister, man. Glad she's over here with us. Same thing, M. Mills, man. M. Mills. Shout out to have M. Mills. Glad to have M. Mills in the house, man. Good sisters over here, man. You know what I mean? Are they perfect? No, man. None of us are perfect. But hey, man, they good-hearted sisters, man. And they really got good hearts, man. Because one thing y'all will notice that I attract people that have good hearts, man. People that really don't want to, they got a little bit of fugazi in them, and when they want to practice a lot of fugaziness, they really just don't want to come over here, right? That's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. But shout out to M. Mills, man. Shout out to M. Mills, another enforcer that we got on the job over here, man. Shout out to you, M. Mills. Thank you for all you do for us. We appreciate you. Who else in the building? Who else in there? Von Bryant. Von Bryant's in the building, man. Another great helper of ours over here, man. Shout out to Von Bryant. Glad to have you in the building. My brother, good to see you. I'm sure you'll be up here. Oh, I forgot to send the links out. Dog. Got to send the links out. Shout. Man, I'll send the links out in a minute. But glad to have you in the building, Vaughn. Glad to have you in the building, man. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate you, brother. Who else in the building? Oh, my sister, Dawn Frank, is in the building, man. Y'all know why I got a Cash App out there, man? You know who told me to put the Cash App? Dawn Frank, man. Dawn Frank, my Caucasian sister, said, hey, Clarence, stop playing, man. Put your Cash App up there. I was like, Don, I ain't really trying to get money off people. She said, nah, man, some people just want to, they just want to participate, man. They just want to throw something your way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if they do, they do. Just let them do it. I listen to the sister, man. So shout out to Don Frank. Good to have you in the building, sis. Glad to have you. Who else in the building? Who else in the building? I think that's everybody who wants to be acknowledged, man. Everybody else in the bushes, but you know, they'll clock in, they'll check in when they want to. All right, so let's take this one down. All right, y'all. So y'all been knowing that you know, and I'm gonna get right to work, man. I'm gonna get right to work. Y'all been knowing that we've been seeing for the past 3 weeks, maybe even a month or so, 2 months. You know, we've been dealing with this just pearly thing situation, right? Where she go on this platform and she said this on her own platform. Her whole situation kind of blew up, right? Because she has said all these different things, right? And I don't understand why I never got why it was such a big deal. Like, I looked at it like for the reality of what it was. She's a privileged middle-aged white woman, and she's probably going to say things that a person that's out of touch is going to say, right? She's privileged. She ain't out in the street, right? I bet if you took Don Frank and you put her in the same, Don would never say none of that stuff, right? But Don's a whole different person, right? So she's just a privileged young lady. And of course, sometimes when people are privileged like that, they feel like they're better, or they can say different things about other people because they don't have the same privilege, right? Man, she just, you know, just a middle-aged privileged white lady, man. So she hasn't, you know, she got the added issue of being privileged, and then probably not spent a lot of time with you know, the black community that isn't doing well, right? She's just spent a lot of time with probably blacks that are, you know, trying to get to where she's at, and they got the drive and incentive to do that kind of stuff, right? And that's cool, but you can't open your mouth and talk about different issues when but obviously people like her because she got over 1 million subscribers. Now, I agree with Rico. She don't have that much engagement in her live streams, but I think people just want to keep abreast of what she's saying and how and some of the silliness that she's saying, right? We got Risa Neal in the building. Shout out to Risa Neal, man, our resident sniper in the building, man. Child, man, you got to have that forcer in here. Don Frank said, I agree with you, Rosie. She probably don't think she was wrong. She don't, man. You know what I mean? And it's not about her being white. It's really about her just not knowing what she's talking about. That's the main issue. That's the main issue. Is she don't know what she's talking about. Now, people create an issue because they say, well, if you of this nationality or race or whatever, you shouldn't be talking about these issues at all, period, whether you know about them or not, right? I say, hey, everything's free game for everybody, right? It's just how you do it. It's how you do it, right? Just because I ain't rich, I can't. It's not that don't mean I can't talk about things that affect rich people, but it's the way I do it. I can't come like, oh yeah, I know what it's like to sit in a 75 room mansion. I can't speak like that. I have to speak from my perspective from where I'm at, right? And obviously that's what she did. But anyway, the YouTube page, the two YouTubers that on this YouTube page called Playback, they did a great analysis of when this dude, man, this other white guy just destroyed her, man. You know, he was just asking her questions, and when I say destroyed, I mean he was just asking her questions about the statements that she made. She was like, "Oh, you trying to put me in this situation?" He's like, "I'm just asking you questions about stuff you said, right?" But she took it like he was trying to She said, you got an agenda. I was like, yeah, the agenda is to find out what you're talking about, right? Don said, but she need to check herself. Yeah, I mean, and I would say that about anybody, not just her. But I'm just through with her, Don. I'm through with her. I'm tired of talking about her. What more needs to be said about her, in my opinion? After we watch this, it's gonna be a done deal. It's a done deal. We could just shut the whole thing down, man. It's a done deal, man. She is just she's so out of touch. She don't even know how far out of touch she is, right? Reminds me like she's gonna say some stuff that Thomas Sowell said that the slaves the American slaves saw their owners as father figures, right? I mean, that's just out of touch, man. That's out of touch. That is really out of touch, man. It's really just beyond, out of sorts. But we're gonna get to all that, man. We're gonna get to all that, man. Y'all, let me let me send these people these links, man. I gotta send the home team the links real quick, and then we'll be all right. If I can pull it, if I can come on, Gmail. Let's get busy. Let's get busy. Wait a minute. How was your day today? How was your day? How was your day today? Did you enjoy your day today? Did you your boss, did you give him a good day's work? Oh, I ain't give no good day's work, Clears. Why not? Man, paying you, right? So go ahead and give him a good day's work, right? Go ahead and give the man a good day's work, right? Man ain't, you know what I'm saying, man paying you. Get a man a good day's work. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, because Just Pearly Things, man, I think she really put her foot in the mouth this time. And it's like, what else more does she need to say? It's like everybody keeps like, oh, I can't believe she said this. What can't you believe? She's an idiot. But anyway, let's check out the playback. Shout out to playback. Go over there and check them out if you can, man. Couple young brothers, man. They usually do pretty good analysis on stuff. But go check them out. Okay, so let's take a look, y'all. Let's do this first, though. Let's do this. All right, there we go. All right, let's take a look.
James is back, man. She had to sit down with Ethan Klein of all people, and she wanted to really get down to the nook and cranny of what a lot of people had concerns with her with, man. First, she's going to talk about her ideology on divorce.
So how do you push a policy that promotes family? Like, in what way can you force a family to stay together or encourage it in a sense?
Well, I think you first have to get rid of incentives that incentivize like women to leave families. So, for example, child support, alimony. I'm not really a fan of those. I think we should ban divorce too. Yeah, I think that should be banned. Yes.
Okay, well, that's a little bit silly. You have to acknowledge that, right?
No, I just think that if
Okay, now I see why the Manosphere loves her so much. She wants to get rid of alimony and child support. Yay, go Manosphere, right? Go Manosphere. Thank you, Mills. I need to put that up there. Let's see. Here we go. We're gonna find it. There we go. All right. Okay. So coming right out of the gate, she said we need to get rid of child support. Me too, Don. Me too. All right, so she like we need to get rid of child support and alimony. And my theory is, okay, if we get rid of that, what we gonna replace it with? Because those children still need to eat, right? I mean, child support is to make sure these children going to be able to be sustained, right? I mean, what are we going to do? What are we going to use? Magic? Hocus pocus. Here's the monthly rent. Hocus pocus. Hocus pocus. Here's some food. How are you going to feed these children? Well, I just think that we should get rid of child support. Or who's going to take care of these children? All the food gods are going to come down and they're going to take care of, it's magic, right? We're going to use magic. Hocus pocus, open sesame, right? What happens if you get rid of child support and alimony? Like Rico said, alimony was designed for women that left their careers and been out of the job market so long. It might take them a while to get another job. It might take them a while to get another career. It might take them a while. They might have to go to school, go back to school, and get some more education or whatever. That's what alimony is for. It was really designed to compensate the woman, right? I mean, but both people can get alimony now, but it was really designed for the woman to compensate her for the sacrifice she made by giving up her job to stay home with the children or whatever, the sacrifice, giving up her career, and then the relationship not working out, and she being able to be made whole, be able to go back to school or whatever. That's what it was originally for. And then Mills said most states don't even have alimony. Well, I'm in California in Mills, and they definitely have it here. Matter of fact, they have palimony. You don't even have to be married to get alimony. You get palimony if you as a woman can, or anybody, but really typically women, if you can show that a man's been paying your bills for a certain amount of time, they're gonna say, hey, you had this woman living at this lifestyle, her and her children living at this lifestyle. You got to continue that until she, a certain time or whatever, right? Don Frank said, right. Also saying ban divorce. Okay, I agree. Some people use divorce too quick of an option, but we can't ban it. No, you can't ban it. There's people out there getting abused, huh? You can't ban it. She's just talking crazy, man. She's just talking out of her behind. These are manosphere talking points. And she is carrying the manosphere banner, right? She's carrying the manosphere banner. And you got guys like O'Shea Duke Jackson trying to separate himself from her, but then you got guys like Obsidian who are who giving her virtual hugs, right? He loves her. I don't see why, but I do see why, because she spouses the same talking points as he does. Getting rid of just the ridiculousness. If we get rid of child support, what's the option, right? Cuba, Haiti, where kids are running around. You got packs of children, 9, 10, 11-year-olds running around, pulling people out their cars. I mean, what do you want? What do you want? Is it better to feed them and give them schooling, or just to let them be running around the streets stealing everything that ain't nailed down? So you don't know what you want. We don't know what we want. Rather, we're not looking at the bigger picture. Anyway, let's get back to just pearly things.
If you want to leave, you just shouldn't get married.
See, I was wondering how she was gonna explain it, but that makes sense. Okay, yeah.
If you wanted to leave, you just should have never got married.
This is sarcasm, by the way.
God forbid any new events may occur within the marriage, because at that point you're SOL. You're shot of luck. So if you ever thought about leaving, just don't ever get married.
That's real. I can't believe nobody else is
I don't know why.
That's good.
I mean, the wise words of Pearl.
I'm not joking. Like, that's prolific.
That is prolific.
Man.
She should be an author, man.
She's
a prophet.
A
philosopher, man. Because I never even thought about it that way.
Welcome to 9 Kilo Moving. Moving house is one of the most stressful life events.
Because if you're saying you're not allowed to get divorced, so we're talking about, like, what if the relationship is physically abusive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if it's physically, this is the problem though. All right, if it's one-sided physically abusive, okay, fine, divorce. We can allow divorce for those exceptions, but like, I've even talked to people that work at like abuse centers, and they say that the majority of abuse is mutual. So it's not just one side's hitting the other; it's like mutual. So
surely that's not every time.
I think. Yeah, I know.
But it's not healthier either.
You're the biggest pick me I've ever seen, bro. Fuck.
I wonder if she has real opinions before she then grifts.
No, she doesn't, bro.
She immediately grifts.
She just immediately, like, she hears a counter, she's like, grifts. Let me grift a little bit more. Every circumstance where somebody goes through a divorce, y'all build it out to be like, oh man, women are just so malicious. These creatures who are just demonic with the way that they just take men's money. Like, oh my God. Most men who are getting divorces are like average earning men who are not paying alimony, who pay very little child support, and even then they don't even pay it all the time. Women are not going through the headache and trauma and emotional strain to divorce men for $400 a month in child support.
I think alimony should get packed the fuck up, but child support can't get packed up because it's not for anybody. Like, it's for the child. Like, yes. I think the bias in family court should be packed up, but child support is necessary because if the child can't survive because there's no financial means to, like, that's not fair.
Regardless, though, Pearl, you're talking on the side of the night. These are all exceptions.
Also, it kind of sounds like something you would say, like, if you didn't really, like, ever
have experience, right?
Ever.
Yeah.
You don't think women should get the right to vote?
No, I don't.
Okay, so are you serious or are you kidding?
No, I'm serious.
Okay, so women shouldn't have the right to vote.
Because men are signed up for selective service, so they're fined $300,000 if they don't sign up for selective service when they're 18.
Do you think women should be drafted into the army?
I think if we want the same rights, it comes with the same responsibilities.
Do you think women should be drafted into the army?
No.
Okay, so then there's a paradox.
No, but that's my point. I'm saying, like, let's make it fair.
Like, if you're a contributing member to society, you get a chance to vote. There's democracy.
You guys see where this is going, right? You see where this go. Oh, it gets better. Don't leave, Don. It gets better. It gets better. The wisdom of Pearl is just getting started. It's just getting started. That's why I say, man, I am so done with this chick, man. I don't even know why they keep bringing her up when people keep talking to her, and she is a train wreck. She is a complete train wreck. Any other woman that was saying the stuff, they would be dismissed immediately. But her, they're giving her a show. They talk to her for 2 or 3 hours, and she's an absolute idiot. Any other woman that was doing that, going around putting out these manosphere points, talking like that, they would 86 her. Goodbye. But this chick, man, for whatever reason, I can't understand it. Whatever reason, they keep resuscitating her, right? Keep doing CPR on her. I'm like, what are we doing? Okay, she said some dumb stuff. Let's get rid of her. Hey, man, thank you for the sub, Diamond X. Appreciate you, man. I saw you subbed. Appreciate you, Diamond X. Thank you, brother. He said, as soon as I heard her say women shouldn't vote, I knew she was full of it. Oh, man, it gets better. Gets better, man. Gets better. Man, I don't have no idea, Don, but people are watching her. And she is like the leader of the pack in the manosphere now, right? She's she puts out all the manosphere points, and she pretty much lays out their position on everything, right? Okay, so she said women shouldn't get the right to vote. That is more ridiculous than the whole there shouldn't be no child support, right? But it just gets worse and worse and worse. And these guys are gonna break her down. They're gonna break her down. But I mean, she's just silly. Just silly. Anyway, let's get back to playback destroying party things.
If you don't believe in that, you need to pack it up. Okay, There's a place called North Korea. You're gonna love it there. All right, there's not as much rights, but you won't have your right to vote. So you're gonna fit in just fine with those North Korean niggas that don't have that right that they would die for.
I think a lot of times as women, we're told that we can just wait forever, get married at 35, and have a bunch of kids, and that's just not true.
Who's saying that?
I just think it's the message that's pushed by the media and culture today. And so I'm not saying it to dog on women, but I just think a lot of times, like, we're lied to. I mean, we have men are called ageist if they don't want younger women.
I want, as we say this, I listen to what she's saying. I want you all to understand the irony of it all. That Pearl is in her mid going on late 20s.
Damn.
And she's going through the exact same thing that she's shitting on women for right now. She's literally in the process of transitioning to this woman who will be in her 30s trying to start a family. She's literally a part of it. The irony of it is laughable.
True.
So
and a lot of times it's women.
You're speaking to women. You're saying past 22, your value's going down. And,
yes,
and your message
to men, your value on the sexual marketplace. So your value, like that doesn't mean like your personal worth. I'd like to just clarify that. But yeah,
22.
Yes.
Okay. She said at age 22, a woman's value starts going down in the sexual marketplace. That is ridiculous, right? I wouldn't even think that they don't even get us unless they got like 4 kids. But if a woman with no children at 22, her value's not going to go down to probably around what, maybe 27, 28, 29, somewhere in there, right? And it's not that she's going down. It's just it's new models coming on the market every day. It's new models coming on the market, so the competition gets stiffer as people get older, right? That's just normal. That's normal. That's just normal sexual selection, right? People going to select. They're going to try to select the most what's the word I can use? Able-bodied person that they can select, right? The healthiest, the person in the most childbearing years, person's body is in best shape, and then a lot of men will look at a person and say, and try to look at her body and say, what is it going to look like on the back end after 3 babies, right? So they're going to do all that at 22 or 23, right? Diamond says the reason why men like listen to her because she says what they want to hear. She makes those losers feel good about themselves. Yeah, man, it's an ugly situation, man. It's ugly. It's ugly, but they get somebody to. They get somebody to acknowledge their position on something that's other than black men, right? So they get to say, yeah, this white lady, she even agrees with us. Yeah, but she's one. I think an average white lady would not even agree with Pearl, right? Well, we got one right here. She don't agree, but but I think the average white lady would have enough sense to say, hey man, maybe that's a concept. Maybe some of these topics I'm not well versed on, or maybe I should, not open my mouth about it. Even if I got an opinion, I should clarify and say, this is my opinion, as opposed to presenting it as a fact or presenting it as good information, which a lot of people do. All right, let's get back to Pearly, who says you women should not be able to vote at all, man, at all. Since you can't be drafted, you can't vote. Hey, I'm 55. I'm too old for selective service. Can I vote? You gonna stop me from voting? I can't sign up for selective service either. So I think the cutoff age is like 45 or something like that. That's the oldest you can be. That's the oldest age you can join the army or join the military. I think it's like 45. I'm 55. I can't join the army. You gonna stop me? You gonna take my vote? You gonna take my vote away? Very Hitlerish. Very Hitlerish. You see the very Hitlerish. Very Hitlerish. But see the people that's backing her, the Manosphere guys that's backing her, the Obsidians and the like that are backing her, they don't see the Hitler in her. They don't see the Hitlerish stuff in it. Man, I tried to wait as long as I could. Arshawn, I tried to, man. I was watching you guys up there. Shout out to you guys, man. I was watching you guys. I was like, man, I tried to hold out as long as I could, but I had to come over here and get the show started, man. But shout out to you, man. I'm going to try to talk about some of the stuff you guys are talking about today, if I can, get to continue the conversation, if I can get to it. Right now, we on Pearly Things. I hope I can put this to bed, man. But shout out to Arshawn. Say I just dropped off my stream. Gonna try to come back through while live, but if nothing else, I'll catch the replay. Yeah, me too, man. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Always your support, man. You guys get a chance to go check out Critically Drinking. Go over there, check out Critically Drinking. Check out Arshawn and the crew over there. And, man, you got to encourage this young brother, man. Encourage Arshawn. Stay on YouTube, man, because we need his voice. Clarence, you just came for him. No, I'm not. I'm just saying, man. He don't always agree with me. He always agree with me. So, I mean, I ain't caping for him. I like his intellect. I like his way he presents stuff. Sometimes I agree. Sometimes I don't. But I can always respect a man that can state their argument and make me go, okay. I got to at least consider what he's saying. Like that. Young guys like Mr. He Said, New Growth, Arshawn, M3 and Intellectual Soapbox. These young guys, man, they can present something so that you could think, you at least got to say, I could consider it. Right? But shout out to Arshawn, man. Glad to have you in the building, man. Hope you get a chance to come back. If not, no big deal. Anyway, Pearl said y'all can't vote, Sister Annie. Y'all can't vote. Y'all don't need no child support. I don't know, man. Abracadabra. Raise those kids. Abracadabra, right? We'll see. Mine too, Don. All right, so let's get back to Pearly, and let's get back to playback and just Pearly things.
Nah.
But that's what this
22?
But the irony of it is I think she's like 27.
You think that she thinks
the value goes down at
22?
At 22, yes. At 22.
Bro,
from a man's perspective, that's crazy. Like there's not like I don't think to myself 25. Ew. That's like no, I don't think that. I'm not running to 22-year-olds or 20-year-olds.
Whoa, wow. I've never heard that before.
I've never heard it.
That's my first time hearing that. Wow.
And you're a man, right?
Yeah, I've never heard nobody say, she what?
24? Fuck no.
I don't know, bro.
Yo, where the 19-year-olds at? Like, I've never heard it a day in my life. I've never heard it before. Yo, for Nick, hey, I'll be honest with you.
Hey, but I think after 30, you need to start seriously thinking about it. At 32, you should probably start panicking if you want kids. If you don't want kids, there's nothing to panic about. But it just depends on the life you want to have. I can't.
She's saying you need to start panicking at 22. She's saying you're a decade late, nigga.
Saying it, like the core of it is true, but the way she's explaining it is fucking stupid. Like it's true. Like in media, most of the time they just tell you like, oh, just have fun, have fun. So what people do is they spend their entire 20s having fun, and it's your life at the end of the day. Like, look, if you want to do that. But she's right. The media and culture is telling people that your 20s is for fun. For
sure.
I'm telling my future kids, your 20s is when you should be figuring out what the fuck you're doing. So like you can have fun, but you better be figuring things out along the way, not just fucking going to party after party after party, wasting your life away.
Boy, okay. All right, y'all. So y'all think a woman loses value in the sexual marketplace at 22? That's obviously ridiculous. The only kind of woman that loses value at that age is somebody with a lot of baggage, maybe 4 or 5 children, maybe a high amount of debt, maybe some mania in there, some manic, depressing, something like that, a drug addict or something, just some heavy stuff. Average 22-year-old girl, man, please. Ain't no value lost there. And we all lose value on the sexual marketplace as we age, even men, right? So everybody loses value on this. It's the question is when do we lose this value? When does this value start to decline, right? But this chick is out of her mind saying it's 22 years old. 22 years old, most women, that's when their wings are, they can spread their wings the farthest, right? The highest. Their wings can reach the highest. So I disagree with that. I disagree with that as well. And then these guys disagree too. Let's move it along a little bit, y'all, because I think they disagree with her. Okay, let's get back to Pearl. And here is Pearly Things.
So do you agree with that premise that slavery was embellished or no?
Okay.
Many people want to go to law school, but they just can't. The hybrid JD program fills that gap.
Okay, before she answers, they ask her, it was slavery embellished, because she said that slavery was embellished. Matter of fact, he's gonna play her own words. So that's why I like when people say people say it that way. I'm not a bad person for saying it, right? You said it, right? I'm a heathen. Okay, so if I call you a heathen, you said you was a heathen, right? You said you was a heathen, not me. So I'm just repeating what you said, right? Right? That's what you said about yourself, right? Man, slavery was embellished. They wanted to use it to keep us in power, go have power over us. Well, who is the they and who is the us? Well, let's look at what she said, y'all. Let's look at her answer. He asked her, do you stand on that point that you said that slavery was embellished? So let's see what she's gonna say.
There are parts that are under embellished, and there are parts that are over embellished. I think it just depends what we're talking about.
That's so interesting. I've got to know what was over embellished about slavery. Just like
that was a good question. That was a good question. He said, what was under embellished? Right? She said, oh, yeah, some parts was under embellished and some parts were over embellished. He said, oh, really? He dropped that on a smooth too. Oh, really? Well, I just would like to know what was over embellished. You said it, so you must know what's over embellished. Now she's starting to say, uh-oh, I done painted myself into a corner here, right? Because he's asking me about my own words. So she's going to do a Donald Trump. You're using my words against me, right? You're using my words. Hey, you just said, I'm just asking you about what you said. You're using my words against me. Well, you said them. All right, man. We try to get some clarification here. This is why, man, I could deal with Pearly things if she would be honest and just say, hey, look, this is the way I feel about this. Backlash or no? Hey, I feel this way, but I don't like when, okay, well, you're going to get some backlash, so you're not going to tell the truth. You're going to kowtow and bow down because you don't want to, you really feel a certain way, but you ain't going to say it because, you don't want the backlash. I get that part, but you already said it.
One example, I'm dying to know. I genuinely want to know how it was embellished.
Yeah.
What can't we talk about? Come on.
I mean, I could show you the video I was quoting, but it's just I'd rather not get into this. So because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said I wanted a myth for my people to live by. Yeah. So they often, but that's what they do is they embellish.
Then you say, but here's what they do.
And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible.
I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible.
Right. But they want to make it like more horrible.
But they want to make it more horrible.
That they can control people.
So that they can control people.
Right. But
Nick Fuentes agrees.
But wait. Oh my gosh. 5 minutes before I say Sowell talks about this in his book. So I'm communicating in the interview.
By the way, she's talking about the black economist Thomas Sowell that's always giving these slave owners a pass and a ticket to cross the river, and a boat ride across the river, right? He's always doing that, right? I mean, always. He's been doing it since the 70s, right? And I mean, that's his shtick, that's his thing, right? So she's quoting him saying, since he said it, then this must be true. This must be true for all situations since Thomas Sowell said it, right? I mean, just look at the logic here. Logic is absolutely flawed, right? It's like somebody saying, hey, I know what I'm talking about because I got 100% success rate. I got 100% people engagement. Why? Oh, because I got a couple emails, right? So therefore, I know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Okay, let's get back to it. Hey, man, I'm just kidding, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I guess the boss camp probably is so mad at me, man. They just so mad at me. But I done lost subscribers talking about the boss camp. But oh well. Anyway, man, if you too good to, if you too big to check, then hey, maybe you right. You don't need to be with Brother Clarence, man. You know, go somewhere where ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you. They're gonna let you walk around thinking that your clothes are too, you know, that the emperor has clothes on. I am not, and I hope you wouldn't let me do it. All right, let's get back to pearly things, man, and the wisdom of Pearl.
That I'm quoting an author.
You're not being honest. You also said George Washington was viewed from his slaves like a father. I guess that's part of what the part of what the myth, I guess, is that not all slave owners were evil. Some were father figures like George Washington.
Now he's asking her about stuff that she said. This stuff she said out of her own mouth, but now she's like, uh-oh. Right? She's like, now she's realizing, uh-oh. I'm putting my foot in my mouth here. Why don't I shut up? Right? Now she's realizing that, right? Oh, man. Risa says, she acts like we told Alice to put lies in the book. Newsflash, I don't like him or her. No, but, you know, I think Ruth did his job at the time, man. But, you know, it was definitely a light depiction of the brutality involved in slavery. Very, very light depiction, right? But, you know, of course, and it's like the first time I've heard this, right? I've seen people, I mean, black people that say, hey, look, you know, it was slaves that, you know, they felt like the master was a good guy. The master was a good guy. Think about that for just a minute. How can a slave owner be a good person? No matter what the color of the slave is, no matter what the color of the slave owner is, how can a slave owner be a good person? How can they? How can they? How can they be a good person? Think about that for just a minute. A slave owner being a slave owner comes with the freedom to be able to tell you to do things against your religion, against your personal belief system, against your own person, with the detriment to your own health. They can tell you to do stuff like that, right? How is that a good person? A good slave owner would say, hey, everybody gather around, all 200 of you guys. Hey, tomorrow, I'm going to start paying you guys a wage. I'm going to start paying you guys a wage, right? There was no law against that, right? Or was it? I don't think it was a law against paying people a wage, right? I'm going to start paying you a wage, and, you know, and we're going to start some classes, get you guys educated so you guys could go out there. I think the only thing you couldn't teach blacks how to read. I think it was illegal to teach a black person how to read. But other than that, man, hey, we're going to pay you a wage. You're not a slave no more. If you're a good slave master, free your slaves. Free them. Then I can call you better. You better. But you can't be good when you own somebody. You can't own a human being. That is not a natural position for no one. It's a sign of the times, but it's not a natural position to be owned by another person. That's not natural. It's just like I told you guys before, the Native Americans here in America. When the people came over here from England, they was homestead land. acres and acres and acres and hundreds of acres of land. And they were putting fences up to keep the cattle in, keep the sheep in. Well, Native Americans migrated and they see fences up. They go, what is this? What's going on here? And you literally had to break down to the Native American the concept of a fence. They was like, what do you need a fence for? What's a fence? I want to keep my property in and I want to keep you out. Because the Native Americans looked at it like this. This is God's land. Everybody, we can go everywhere we can go, long as we be respectful. There's different territories, but as long as we're respectful of each other, we can go where we want to go. Europeans like, It's not how we get down in Europe. But my point is, man, there's certain things that's just inherent. Freedom is inherent. You're supposed to be born free. You're supposed to die free. That's what you're supposed to do. No, Claire, because they got slaves in the Bible. Why do you think Jesus came? See, when Moses came, the world was a lot simpler. The issues of the day were a lot simpler. By the time Jesus comes, it's more complicated. You can't just say this group, because of this bloodline, this group is above this group. You can't do that no more. Now, because of the intertwining of so many of the people, now you can't just say, well, what bloodline is better than the other bloodline? You can't do that anymore. Now you need somebody to come into the building that says, okay, it's not about the bloodline anymore. It's about your behavior. It's your behavior now that determines whether you're a good person or not. Not because you're Israel or you a thisite or thatite or Moite or Shiite or Moabite or Sodomite, whatever, right? That doesn't determine whether you are good. What determines whether you good is your behavior, your actions, right? Because it's more complicated than just the bloodline. When Moses and Noah was here, and everybody was told, hey, you of this bloodline, stay away from this bloodline. You of this bloodline, stay away from this bloodline, right? Everybody was supposed to be keeping apart from each other, right? But by the time Jesus gets here 2,000 years later, right, everybody's been mixing with everybody. So we can't just say this bloodline is better than this other bloodline. Everybody's diluted. Now we got to say, who's the people that God is going to keep his eye on the most? The poor. The people that's being misused, mismanaged. Right? We need to bring them out of, because they not doing stuff because they're getting rich. They're doing stuff because that's just what they believe that's the right thing to do, right? Typically, but shout out to Brother Anderson, say we black again. Absolutely. How you doing, Brother Anderson? Glad to have you in the building, man. My other Taurus brother. Y'all know I don't mess with these Tauruses out here. All right, so we get into the slavery conversation, right? And we get a little deeper into it, and now good old Pearl is starting to realize, I am really putting my foot in my mouth here. Maybe I should be quiet. Maybe I should reel it back in. Because, you thought that show that she did with Nick Fuentes was bad. I think this is 4 or 5 times worse, right? But let's see what else she got to say.
Did you say that?
And it wasn't as simple as he could have just let them go, because the debt that's incurred on them, you can't just release them. And so his slaves actually, he had a really good relationship with them, and they considered him like a dad.
Wait a minute, the debt? What debt? How can a slave incur a debt? How can you have a debt? How can you be a slave and also incur a debt? Only free people can incur debt. Slave can't. Slave don't have no way of incurring no debt. You got to be able to put your word to incur a debt. You got to put your word on the line, and only a free man's word is worth anything. A slave's word is not worth nothing. Why? Because the master can override whatever he say. Y'all didn't hear me. Y'all didn't hear me. A slave, his word is no good. Because guess what? If the slave say, I'm going to pay you, and then the master said, no, you ain't. Oh, well, no, I ain't then. Right? Right? Slave word ain't no good. It's only a free man and a free woman's word that's any good. So how can a slave incur a debt? She said, all right, we can release them as, yes, you could. Just didn't want to do it. It wasn't economically feasible to do it. But you could have done it. Just wasn't economically feasible. A slave can't incur a debt. That's impossible. Because to incur a debt, you have to put your word on the line. You have to say, my word is I'm going to pay you back on this day or that day, or this how much I'm going to pay you, whatever. When you sign that paper to buy that car, that's your word. Your signature is your word saying, I know that I got to pay this much money at this much interest, and I'm going to pay it back on these dates. You think they're going to run into a jail, somebody in the jail, and they say, hey, I know you're in jail, but we got this great deal for you. We're going to get you one of these Ram F-150s, these 4 F-150s. You know, it's only $97,000, right? Just sign here. They ain't going to do that to them dudes in there. Why? Because they ain't free. So let's get it straight. Let's get it straight. All right, let's get back to Pearly.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't as simple as he could have just like let them go, because the debt that's incurred on them, like you can't just release them. And so his slaves actually, like, he had a really good relationship with them, and they considered him like a dad.
Did you hear this? She said the slaves considered George Washington like a dad. Hey, Dad, thanks for owning me. Thanks for paying for me, paying for my voyage, paying for the kidnapping, and bringing me over here and putting me to work from can't see morning to can't see night, right? Thanks, Dad. You're the best. What kind of fool? Black people wasn't no fools, man. What kind of fool would take a slave master for a father figure for real? Of course, they probably had to portray that in front of the slave master that everything was all good, or it's trouble to pay, right? But of course, Pearly don't have no idea. She never lived that kind of lifestyle. She's never been in that kind of situation where your livelihood depends on how well another person thinks of you. I'm going to say that again. Pearl has never been in a situation where your life and death depends on what another person thinks about you. And they can snap their fingers and you go bye-bye. Shout out to Big Rick Slaps. Glad to have you in the building, Big Bricks. Shout out to Chef Shapiro. Chef Shapiro said, you cooking with grease over here, family. I know, man. Chef Shapiro, man, that's another good content creator, man. If you guys get a chance to go over to Chef Shapiro, go check out Chef Shapiro, man. I think the last show he did, I just walked in the last minute and he was like signing off. I was like, oh, man, damn. I just caught it when he was signing off, man. But shout out to Chef, man. Good to have you in the building, brother. Yeah, man. This is crazy. Who Do you think, let me ask y'all, do y'all think that maybe it was healthier for the slave to make the masters think that they were in agreement with the situation rather than constantly causing opposition or showing their distaste or disgust for their condition? Right? Man, you had it all covered, man. You always got it all covered, Chef. But I surely, I'll have no problem participating. I didn't catch you, man. I was like, dang, yeah, he was just about to shine off, man. Yeah, man, Chef is another good content creator, man. We got a lot of good content creators, man, here. A lot of good content creators. Anyway, so we're talking about Pearl. Yeah, we're talking about Pearl. Do you think that some of these slaves, I mean, they look at it like this, hey, this person got my life in their hand, literally in their hands. They can just say to somebody, take this person out to the woodshed and make them be happy when they're around me. They go out there and, man, they do all kind of nefarious stuff to you, as Patrice would say. Doing all kind of nefariousness. But this chick just don't get it because she never been in that situation. She never been in a situation where her life and death depended on what another person thought. And her health was, she had a better chance of being healthy by making the person that held her life and death in his hands think that she was cool with it. But see, you never been in that situation. So how can you speak on it? How can you speak on it? You look like an idiot speaking on it. That's why everybody gets all upset, because you just look dumb talking about it. And you ain't never been in that situation, nor has you have any relatives that probably been in that situation. At least not for at least a couple 100 years. You ain't never had you ain't got no relatives that been in that situation. How do you know? We black people, man, we got family members that were slaves. They done passed these stories down to us. They done told us what they was doing. And people passed it down to generation. I ain't never heard somebody passing down slave stories and they say, yeah, we loved our master. He was a great dude. I ain't never heard one. Except when it comes from people like Pearl or people like Thomas Sowell, right? Who have a complete agenda, man. Got a complete agenda. But that's another thing. I'm gonna get to Thomas Sowell in another video. I'm gonna really rip him a new asshole. But that I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get to that later. But not right now. We're talking about the wisdom of Pearl. The wisdom of Pearl. Everybody thought, all the slaves thought George Washington was a great dad. Really? Let me tell you something. Black people it's the reason why black people are so good at entertainment. Because we had to be good at entertainment just to survive, right? We had to make you think that we was good with the condition that was, what do you call that? Just horrible. Had to make you think that. So that's why we're good at it. Sometimes to a fault. Sometimes we so good at it, we tripping over our own feet. Anyway, let's get back to Pearl, the wisdom of Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
What's your source for that?
That was from a Thomas Sowell book.
Oh, that was a good question. What was your source for this information that what was your source? Oh, Thomas Sowell. I don't know about y'all, but I know when they taught us the scientific method, you can't just take one source and say, this is absolute here because I got this one source. You have to check things over, and there's a way you have to check everything to make sure it's going to be able to be applied in every situation, right? You guys remember the Challenger, the space shuttle Challenger that exploded in 1986? There were some engineers working on that thing that said, this ain't going to work. The math ain't mathing on this. This ain't going, if you guys try to save money and do it this way, this heat shield ain't going to hold up. This thing is not going, it's not going to work. But they was in a rush. They were cutting corners, and the greedy people was trying to keep money for themselves. That's the part they didn't say. They was skimming money off the top. The CEOs was skimming money off the top, saving money every way they could to take a bigger bonus for themselves. Well, guess what? They took money out the budget to make sure that space shuttle was designed properly. Had 2 or 3 engineers that just quit. They quit from NASA because they said, you guys gonna kill somebody. Because they saw, hey, this is not good. It's not right. And they tried to tell people and nobody would listen to them. Because the higher ups, they was getting downward pressure from the up above to say, hey, just make it work with this. Just make it work with this. Saw what happened, unfortunately. Rick said she was so damn pseudo. She was just saying shit. Man, I mean, it gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse, Riggs. But let's check it out.
Crazy things I've heard in
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So insane.
That's insane.
It's hilarious.
To Pearl, I'm assuming what you're referring to is like the difference between a house slave and a field slave, and some of the house slaves are receiving more just better treatment from their masters because they were in their house. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. Well, that is very well documented. Claiming that it was a good relationship is completely written in the scope of, or the lens of, the slave owner. Most of what those slaves are doing at that time would definitely be viewed as just a survival tactic to just do what they need to be done, even if it means to put up an act of having a good relationship with their master. No one in their life would ever say that someone who is still viewed as less than, regardless of how they're being treated, would define that as a good relationship. You imbecile.
I'm assuming your stance is
the exception. That's the exception. That's the exception.
I'm assuming your stance is abortion should be off the table in any situation.
Age 49 to 63 and not able to work. This message is for you. New rules.
Yes.
So if a dad is his daughter, then she needs to give birth to that baby.
You know, that's less than 1% of cases. Why do you guys always
no.
I know,
no,
but
why? Now he went through the abortion thing, right? Because she said, hey, look, abortion should be illegal, right? Even on the even under the situation of incest or assault or ARP or whatever, right? She said it should be illegal. Now, I don't like abortion. I don't. I wish we didn't need it, but I have to say yes to it because of these other cases. That door has to be open because of these smaller issues, smaller cases that may come up, right? So those small cases keep the door open for abortion. I don't like it. I think everybody should have the right to be born and justified in their living existence, right? That's me, right? If you were conceived, then I think you should be brought to your full term, unless there's a health problem there. But I mean, if it's not going to be a health problem, the only reason why it's an abortion is the inconvenience of dealing with a child that was conceived. I would much prefer that people just say, well, you know what, I'm just going to deal with the inconvenience of it, than actually having a murk. But that's me. But I definitely think it should be an option for somebody that's been ARPed or had a incest or some other kind of violation. I definitely think that door should be open for those people. But having that door open for them means we have to have it open for everybody. So unfortunately, we have to have it open for everybody in that case. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't like it, but I'm okay with it because it gives at least the people that's being violated a chance to do something about it. They can do something about that situation. Thank you, Don. Risa said now she has no kids by choice. If a person choices to not have any, then leave it alone. She can choose, but nobody else can. Right? Choose a baby, right? To have a baby. Oh, she said maybe have a baby. Yeah, Risa. I mean, you know, I'm not saying where you know you gotta. I'm just saying my desire would be that if somebody was actually to the point where they they have been conceived, that they would at least be brought forward, and then you know put them up for adoption, or you know if you don't want the baby, put them up for adoption. But I think everybody who makes it to the point of conception, if you can tell that the birth is going to be a healthy birth, why not let that person come forth? Because we don't know who we getting these baby mercs that are like not outside of that issue, outside of the incest issue and the violation issue. We don't know who we might be putting down, the greatest man, the greatest woman that ever lived, right? We might be putting that person down because we just out here doing it. So that's the way I look at it. I look at it. I know I ain't trying to get all of y'all look at it like I do, but I'm just saying that's the way I look at it. So I disagree with her on the abortion issue. So let's get to it.
It's important, Pearl,
because if you're going to have a
now all of a sudden when it comes to this, you're using the exception to expound on something that I don't think that you truly believe. You just want to fit in.
This whole country was built off of
Jesus. The great relationships.
The spectacular relationships.
Good relationships between black and white people, bro.
Yeah.
The fantastic relationships that they had. They're not all fast.
Yeah.
They're obviously
some were obviously like, you know, somewhere here and somewhere there.
But we cannot overlook the fantastic ones. The great relationships that were just built off. We just cannot get on my toes.
This dumb
who
fucking
the fuck are you?
bitch. Oh my god, I fucking hate that she said that's so fucking stupid. Holy.
I was kind of hoping this was like a good faith interview.
Wait, what's bad faith? I'm literally showing you clips of you saying stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What about this interview has been bad faith?
I just think you're kind of trying to push an agenda and you're not.
Okay. Now she's accusing him. Now, man, these manosphere people, man. I'm the victim. I said all this offensive stuff. Now I'm the victim now. The Donald Trump defense, right? You're using my words against me. These are your words. Your words, right? And not mine. Nobody said this. You said this, right? Oh man, but Pearl is an absolute idiot, man. I think we kind of got the idea. I think let me see. I don't think it just gets worse where she tries to deflect and say, well, I thought this was a good fake interview. Now you're asking me about stuff that I had some problems about. Yeah, of course. That's why people want to talk to you. You think they want to talk to you about you? You're an absolute idiot. They don't want to talk, but they want to talk to you about the stuff you said that caused the issue, caused the controversy. Duh. What else do you think they're bringing you up there for?
Yeah, I just think you're trying to.
That's a clip of you saying that. You can disavow it. That'd be super easy to say I was wrong.
Interview where I'm quoting somebody. Like if you watch the full interview, I am quoting somebody. Facts about your parents. You
knew you were coming to talk to me for weeks.
Could have easily done that.
You're welcome. But I thought we were talking about the issues, not like my family.
When you're talking about,
you didn't know any of the backlash I got. Like because you got that clip from an like.
Okay,
we're not here to protect your reputation.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? Let's say I didn't know about it to the extent that it was such an issue for you, but let's just say it was. I mean,
I do have to go though because I have a show coming up. So.
Okay, let's just end on this note.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery was embellished because some masters had good relationships with their masters. Some slaves had good relationships with their masters.
All right.
But don't you see how easy it is to just say, I don't think it was embellished? I don't think it's a secret.
You guys act just like Abba and Preach.
Like
you
Pearl.
act just like
Wait, Pearl, I don't think it's a secret that some masters had good relationships with their slaves. I don't think that's a secret. There's been a whole diverse.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. But I'm gonna go. Thank you.
All right, you guys, that's Pearl. She's a complete idiot. She's toast. So I don't even know why we needed to keep discussing her. I really don't. I mean, I don't see why anybody would bring her up to talk to her about anything. She's a complete idiot. I don't know why even bring her up. But, you know, people want to get the views, and she's an easy target, right? Very silly, can't back up her argument, can't back up her position. She's just an idiot, right? Well, what are you gonna do, man? This is YouTube, and even an idiot can make themselves look like they're an expert in some field, in something, right? And here's an unmarried, no relationship, nothing person can come out here and give relationship advice, marriage advice, wife advice, right? Just a whole multitude of bad, right? That's why I have problems with people like that, man, where they're giving out bad advice and they're giving out life-destroying advice, right? And then they say, oh, but this is good for you, right? When they don't take into account a lot of variables. Relationships have lots of variables. A lot of stuff have lots of variables. Shout out to New Growth. Glad to have you in the building. New Growth says it's funny because she grills her guests the same exact way, right? Right? She goes in asking them questions, right? And then when she gets asked the questions, I don't really want to talk about it. Shout out to Pearl, man. She was she's just one of them people, man. She's just one of them people, man, that the manosphere loves her for whatever reason. She's getting more and more subscribers. So obviously, there's a group of people out there that really think that she's makes sense, or they just agree with her. Maybe she don't make sense, but they agree with her and they want to promote her message. So shout out to them. Shout out to them. All right, y'all. Let's get back to let's go to Arshawn. Let's go to Arshawn. All right, anybody got anything to say about Pearl? Going once, going twice. I'll put the link out if you want to say something about Pearl. Going once, going twice. I'm really done with this chick. I am not going to have I'm not saying nothing else about this chick no more, man. No more. It's ridiculous. This shit, I mean, I don't have nothing to say unless somebody bring it up to me, but I'm not going to be talking about it no more. I knew she was an idiot from the beginning. These people are like, I can't believe she said this. What do you think, man? What do you think somebody like her in her position is going to say, right? Of course, they're going to say stuff like this from time to time, right? All right, y'all. Let's get off of Pearly things, because I'm done with Pearly, man. She's an idiot. Anybody listening to her, that you get what you deserve listening to her. You get what you deserve, man. All right, y'all. Let's go back to now on Quickly Drinking. On Quickly Drinking, it was Thinking Through Thursday, right? And so they were talking about was how to deal with sex offenders at the time, right? Doing a SWOT analysis. I forgot what SWOT means, but they were doing a SWOT analysis, right? So let's take a listen to Arshawn and the crew.
Like, sentences you never thought you would say in your life. What other
I mean, there is a threat that the capitalists will commodify this idea, though.
I was thinking about that
because in America we have the rights for property. It's just like a period.
Committing crimes, so that way it goes beyond sex crimes. So somebody's stealing, put a big scarlet S or something, big, something. So. Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of issues with that, but let's entertain the idea.
Just entertaining the idea, and it could be a silly, silly and serious, because it's
okay.
What we're doing. We're just thinking through solutions.
Okay. So what they were doing was just brainstorming on some ways, some solutions to discourage sex crimes, right? Discourage offenders from committing sex crimes, right? Now, here's the only pushback I had on them was they were putting out logical things, right? Pain premise, the pain premise, right? The consequence premise, right? Where if you do something, there's going to be a consequence to it, right? And that works with people that are rational, right? But creepos are not rational thinking people. They're not. Nobody is rational that says a 8-year-old boy is sexually alluring, right? That's a creepo's mind works like that. Or I know what I want to do. I see this woman and she ain't got no man walking beside her, so therefore I want her. I'm gonna just take her, right? This ain't jail, right? This ain't the jungle. You can just do what you want to do, right? It's repercussions, but even these creepos, their mind don't run off of that, right? The mind runs off of the presence of a protector, the presence of the father, right? I played y'all the creepo that said, what's the first thing he said he looked for? It's Chomo. He said the first thing I look for is the involvement of the father. How involved is the father? He said if the father is really involved with the child, scratch that child right off the list. He didn't say the mother. He said the father. He said the father. That's why I'm always trying to tell black men, come on back home. Come on back home. Clarence, I can't stand her. I can't stand that woman. Okay, that ain't got nothing to do with your children, brother. That's got nothing to do with your children. You need to be back here with your children, man, because these chomos is out here. They're out here, man, and they in full force. And they are, because what they're going to do is they're going to adjust so that they don't get caught, right? They're going to adjust their strategies so where they're not as they're going to reduce the chances of them getting caught. So they're not going to stop being like that. The what do you call that? The consequence ain't going to stop them. It's just we need to put them in a position where they it's not even worth it to them to do it. Right? Now, how can we do that? How can we do that? Shining a light on it is good. But what we got to do is be more involved. Because the chomos, a turnoff for them is see the family tight of a good family. Right? The chomos get a hard on when they see a child that's out there by itself, neglected, right? Shout out to Jill's Chocolate Boutique. If you haven't got a chance to get over to Jill's Chocolate Boutique, get on over there and check out Jill. Jill's, all about good vibes. Jill's all about good vibes, right? But it's what you wanted to do. So that was the only pushback I had. It's like, okay, you can come up with all these different ways, but, like for example, they're gonna come up with the castration. Castration. I think if you're gonna go that far, you might as well just take them out. Hey, why castrate somebody and have them still here wanting to do the stuff that they was doing? They just don't have the equipment to do it, and they go find another way to do it. As opposed to, hey, if we're gonna go that far with the castration, let's just get rid of them. That makes more sense to me, right? Who is going to want to live and not take being castrated out on somebody. I don't see a person that was castrated for some kind of crime being saying to himself, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to live a righteous, pietous life now." I just don't think so. But anyway, let's get into some of the solutions, because some of the solution was good. I just had a little pushback on that part of it, because I feel like, creepos are not, like a normal person would say, they would do the risk reward measurement before they do something. They said the risk is this place, the reward is at this place. Is it worth it? No, it's not worth it, because the risk is too high and the reward is too small. But creepos don't think like that. They don't care what the risk is. To them, the reward is worth it. It's worth them doing the risk. No matter what the risk is, it's worth it. The thing that turns them off sexually is an intact family, is a close-knit family, where they know the father is highly involved. That's what turns them off. That's the picture we got to put out there. I'm not saying the mother is of no consequence. I'm just saying, from the Chomo's perspective, the mother's not a huge issue. The father is the huge issue. All right, y'all. Let's see what they're talking about.
Yeah. No matter how fast they are.
Oh, child. So strengths to castrating people.
Now listen.
I mean, it's going to solve people, like repeat offenders that grape people. It would
definitely discourage
repeat offenders. Yeah, hit the little thing on the chin.
Yeah, child, put it over.
Yeah, and get it to. There you go.
Well,
yeah,
so
it would discourage repeat offenders. People, yeah.
Man.
But who's going to do the castration?
Oh, I mean, we have jailers and stuff. They currently they inject people, they pull the lever on electric. Somebody will do it. There's somebody willing to do it.
I agree with Arshawn. Now, I agree with him on that one. There's always somebody willing to do it. There's always going to be somebody willing to pull that switch. Always. So somebody would do it. But to me, why waste time castrating them? If you're going to castrate these people, you might as well just, hey, the third offense, either you get life in jail or we get to put the needle in your arm. Simple as that. Because I don't think castrating someone and letting them run free is a good idea. Not me. I don't think so. I think if you castrate a person, you're going to have to lock them up. Now we got to pay for the castration, plus we got to pay for the for locking you up every year. The $70,000 a year it costs to house an inmate, right, in California, in the prison population. About $70,000 a year on average, right? Holy smokes. What are we doing here? Yeah, man, let's just knock them out the box. I mean, if we're going to go to that level. Now, some of these people, they can be dealt with longer sentencing and no good time. Yeah, I think you shouldn't get no good time if you are if you have child offenses. I think a good time should be, or at least cut in half, or you should have to do double to get good time. It shouldn't be you just getting good time. No. Anything you have to do with children, you shouldn't be able to build up good time so easily, like like a regular inmate would be able to build up what they call good time, right? But that's what I feel. That's how I feel. How y'all feel? What y'all think, man? Should we castrate chomos? Should we castrate chomos? If you have to castrate chomos, man, you'd be running around the clock doing it. And then you got these bitter, castrated dudes out on the street. They got nothing. You know what the most dangerous person in the world is? the most dangerous person in the world is somebody who has nothing to lose. A castrated person has nothing to lose. Yet they out here, right? They have nothing to lose, right? I just think that if we're gonna go to the level of castration, let's just put the needle in them. But anyway, let's get back to Arshawn.
When I found out that there are still places with jars of people's penises, pickle penis jars, and I mean, there's somebody will do it. People are crazy. Brio volunteer.
That's one nursing segment I'll stay away from. Because he wants $50.
That's crazy. It does discourage crime, especially repeat. Oh my gosh. Let me see. The strength of it sends a message. It sends a very public message.
I mean, one thing you men do put on a pedestal is your dick. So I would imagine it would send a very strong message if that was in danger of people don't, so I guess it would send a strong message.
Now, see, this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about. It would send a strong message if you're dealing with a rational person. But these chomo dudes, they're not rational. They're not thinking when they get on this track of I'm going to abuse a child or abuse a woman or something like that. These violators, they're not in a rational thinking process. Their mind slips into do it or don't do it, right? Either I'm gonna do it or I'm not gonna do it, right? So they just do it. And it gets to a point where they say, I don't care what the consequences are. Maybe I'll be lucky enough where I won't get caught. That's how they think. They don't. So I don't think you're going to discourage. Only thing you're going to do now, I will say this: castrating will slow down repeat offenders. Definitely slow them down. But I know, and I think everybody else knows that when you take and castrate somebody, I have never seen a castrated person that was nice. Right, that was pleasant to deal with. You're usually making somebody even worse. A worse of a person by doing something like that to them, right? Especially it wasn't their choice to have that happen, right? Man, see, the only thing we can do is longer prison sentences, right? Because what happens is the chomos go into prison, they might get 10 years and they get it down reduced to 5 because of the overcrowding, and they have good behavior, right? Why do they have good behavior? Because there's no children in the prison. They can't pursue their hobby in the prison. So of course they're good. They're not offended. They're not trying to step to no men or don't do nothing to no grown man. They want little kids. Or same thing with the ARPist. ARPist goes in there. There ain't no women in there to ARP. So they get good time. They get their sentence slashed in half because of the overcrowding, and they're back on the street. But I say, anything you do with children, you should do your full time. You should do your full time. Shout out to Sim. Glad to have you in the building, my brother. Anyway, let's get back to Arshawn and the crew over at Critically Drinking.
Assuming she's getting her mic and stuff ready.
I wonder how far it would go. Like, are we doing just the top, or are we going all the way down to the base? Like, how much are we getting rid of with this castration?
Oh my!
Oh, okay, I just jumped up here. Hello.
Hey,
hey, girl.
Now, Dury, you'll take pickled penis over ranch, sir?
What? I don't even know. I just jumped up here to since this was so Rashawn prompted and said really extreme ones. So this was like one of my really extreme ones. So behind you, I was just throwing random stuff. But I think it's more for me as a punishment. I don't think it will stop people per se, because there are multiple ways to assault
Sim said, brother C, remember one of your sayings is the more solutions, the more preventions. So what they suggestion is one of many some will fear. Yeah, no, I get it. What I'm saying is, as an overall solution, Sim, I don't see it as because that would to rational people have fear, right? Because you can measure that. You can say that, okay, if I do this, this is a risk that I'm taking, right? You can logically measure the risk, right? It'd be like skydiving, right? There's some people that say I'm willing to take the risk. I might die doing this, but it's worth it, right? It's worth it for me to jump off this cliff, right? That's how, but that's not normal. A normal person say, why would I even jump off a cliff? What do I need to jump off a cliff for? I don't need to do that, right? But a rational person wouldn't do it, right? But a irrational person would do that just for fun, right? Same thing with the chomos. They doing this for fun. They doing this for this. This is a part of who they are inside. So that the part of them that is that is them inside, not gonna never let it go. No matter if the police get involved, no matter if they have to do some time, whatever. The only way they're gonna let it go is if they get some other kind of, if they can replace that desire with something else. Now, how do they do that? I don't know. Some people can go to counseling. Some people can get the Lord involved. Some people can on their own just say, hey, man, I need to stop being this way. Some people can do it. But the majority of them, probably not. The majority of them probably going to have to be, you have to get longer sentences. Or, like I said, Sim, you got to give them the needle. Got to, because castrating them, I think, is going, because once you start doing that, you're going to have castrations around the clock, man. You're going to have castrations around the clock if you do that. And where's the cutoff? Who's going to get castrated, who's not going to get castrated? And how many offenses do you have to have before you castrate you? Now, Canada brought up a good point. I'm talking about people that, with the DNA was there. What about people that the DNA wasn't there, but they still committed the offense, right? How's that going to work? I guess we're not castrating them, right? So whatever thing they're doing to not leave DNA, it's working for them, right? I just say, hey, man, let's just give everybody longer prison sentence. Let's don't give no people that do sexual violations, let's don't give them good time. Let's don't do that. But Clarence, the ACLU said that's inhumane. No, that's not humane. The government's job is to err on the side of the people. Am I right or am I wrong? Right? You walk into one of these court buildings, right? What did the judge say? If I got it wrong, I got it wrong. But my job is to err on the side of the people. So if I got it wrong and you got to pay, then it's you instead of the people paying, right? Shout out to Marcus, by the way. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? I'm going to bring some of y'all up here. What do y'all think, man? Or anyone who wants to come up here. What do you think we should do with sexual offenders? What should we do with them? How can we discourage people who want to commit sex crimes? How can we discourage that? Do you think castrating, like Arshanim said, castration? I don't know if that's going to discourage it. I think the long prison sentences might. I think I'm not saying that castration won't. Some people won't say, you know what? I just think they're going to approach it different. I don't think they're going to stop. I think they're going to just approach it different, try to, set it up to where make it look like it's not a crime, but it is a crime, right? I think they're going to be much more careful about how they do it, right? As opposed to let's just take them out the box. I mean, if we're gonna go to the point of castration, man, let's just give them a needle. I don't want nobody mad because they got their slung chopped off running around. I don't think that's going to be a good idea. And if you start doing that, you're going to have a parade of people that you're going to have to do that for. And I don't see how that's going to deter. I think the greatest deterrent of sex crimes is a well-made man in the building, where that offender sees that the man is there and the man is a tight-knit family, the man is there. I think that's the greatest deterrent. So what that means? You guys got to get back in we got black man, you got to get back in your house. You got to get back in your house. You got to be a bigger presence to your children. I was telling my son this morning. Got to be, man, my granddaughter's 5 years old. You hardly spend any time with her because she lives with me. You lucky. You got some place to leave her. But you better get in there, or you're gonna be like Russell Simmons. You're gonna be sitting around having your daughter tell you, you leave us alone. We don't need you no more. How's that gonna go down? Whether Kimura's right or Russell Simmons is right, who cares? The problem is the children. The children are saying, hey, and they're at an old enough age where they don't need their mother's consent to speak to you. You can make your presence felt. But I know Russell has other issues, right? If he comes back to America, the indictment is going to hit he's not even going to be here 24 hours and the indictment's going to start flying, right? He's got a special set of problems, right? Special set of problems, man. But we have to be more present. We as men have to be more present. That's the number one thing that will stop these chomos or slow them down. Nothing to stop them, but slow them down a lot is the fact that the fathers are involved in our fathers and the male figures. Like Sim said, the brothers, the fathers, uncles, cousins, whatever. When they see more males involved with these children and providing the protection around them, that turns them off, man. That turns them off. They don't want nothing to do with an intact family. They need a child to be outside playing with a stick by itself, right? They could ride up on a bike. Hey, what you doing? Nothing. Where's your mom? In the house. Where's your dad? He doesn't live with us. He lives out of state. The chomo eye light up. Boom. I might have one here. How much do you talk to your father? Not that much. Really? Like, what do you say, once a week? Twice a week? No, maybe once a month. Eyes get bigger. Boom. Maybe I got one here. Well, hey, if you want to have fun, you can come over to my house. I live right up the street. You can play Xbox. We got to teach our children about hooking up with strange people, man. We got to teach them. Because if we don't, guess what? Guess who's going to get them? Guess who's going to get them? And then we're going to say, I thought I did everything in my power to keep this kid away from this type of situation. No, you didn't. No, we didn't. That's why we're talking about it. What's the solution? The greatest solution is men have to be more involved with our children. We have to be more involved, with our nephews and our grandsons and granddaughters and everything. We got to be more involved. We got to show that presence. I know you don't want to go to karate practice. I know you don't want to go to piano lessons. I know you don't want to go to this, but you got to. The days when you could leave your children alone with the teacher, coach, counselor, whatever, those days are over. Those days are over. Me and Rico was coaching. Yeah, you could leave, man, people leave their kids, man, with us. and they forget their kid is out there, right? Because they doing whatever they doing, right? They forget the kid is even out there. They come out half hour, an hour late. Can't do that no more. Can't do that no more, man. The good news is, man, they won't even let you coach because they run your fingerprints and everything when you're trying to coach. So they won't even let you coach unless they take a good look at you, right? Good look at your background, right? But shit, some dudes can help out coaching, and they could swing under the radar. But I'm just helping. Just the actual coach has to you got to get your fingerprints done. You got to get a background check. So that's good. But that don't mean the creepos can't still come through, right? Some of them are just so good they ain't been caught yet. When I say good, I mean some of them have perfected a system by which they can identify neglected children and children that have some type of what do you call that? Built up resentment for the parents because of the neglect, and they're interested in doing something to show the parent that they got resentment for them. And one of the things they can do is get into a separate relationship with a grown person, usually a man, a grown man, to show to stub their nose at the parents, right? Not knowing the cost of being involved in that relationship, right? Their innocence is going to be snatched away from them, right? And that's what we had an issue with the drag queen reading the books in the library, right? It ain't that you a drag queen, it's that you snatching these people innocence away from them, because now you putting a question on the table that they ain't ready to answer or they ain't ready to ask. So they shouldn't even be presented to them, in my opinion. But I would say the same thing for a heterosexual person that was out there in, Megan Thee Stallion in a high skirt in the classroom with half her boobs hanging out. I would say the same thing. We don't want that type of environment around our children where their sexual appetite is going to be tantalized, or they're going to be asking questions that they're not even ready to deal with the answers or the reason why or anything. They ain't ready to deal with none of that. So we got to think about what we're doing, y'all. We got to think about what we're doing. But anyway, let's get back to Arshawn, man, a little bit more. And then I'm opening it up, man. Y'all come up here. Tell me what y'all think.
People, obviously. So for me, it's a pure pain and suffering and punishment standpoint. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you should take the testicles, though, too, if you were asking.
Oh, my goodness.
We don't need them procreating.
Ooh. Sorry. Wow.
I mean, they can have the skin, but we'll snip them. We'll snip them. Whoa. We'll let them keep that at least, but we'll snip them. I'm coming purely from punishment. Like if you assault children, that's what I was saying. Like if you assault children, especially, this should happen to you.
One of the
assault children
is the assumption that only men great people. What about women that great people? What's the punishment for them? Like they don't have a penis to get rid of.
That was a great question. That was a good question. If you're gonna be hacking and whacking the male population, what do you do for the female population? Oh, Clarence, they have a clitoris, and you could just whack the clitoris off. Can you? I don't know if that can be done, right? And somebody's gonna live the rest of their life. Oh, okay, I guess so, right? Because I guess we call them transgenders. They get this kind of work done a lot, right? So maybe you can do it. I don't know. I know I don't want nobody touching it. I don't want nobody that I didn't ask to be in that space, right? I don't want nobody I didn't ask working on anything down there, right? Working in the basement, right? No. Now, if I asked you to go down there, that's different. But I didn't ask. And you got tools with you? No. Bro, I'm very sensitive, man. I see tools. I'm like, oh, what you need tools for? Marcus said, by the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the chat and the panel. Yeah, man. Thank you, brother Marcus. Appreciate that, man. Happy Father's Day. Happy belated Father's Day. And happy belated Father's Day to the father figures out there, man. The dudes that just said, for whatever reason, I'm going to mentor this young man. I'm going to take this young man under my wing. I'm going to try to be here for him so I can give him direction, right? The stepdads, the brothers, the uncles, the cousins, right? The older brothers. You stepped into that role, right? Nobody, for no pay, right? There's no pay coming. You stepped into that role. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. Sim said, got to put a weave on them and then cut it off. What you talking about? What you talking about, Sim? He said, got to put a wee-wee on them and then cut it off. well, Sim, I think that, unfortunately, man, because of the way these guys think, I don't think that they're not thinking rationally. And a rational person can do the computations and measure the risk over the reward and decide what they're gonna do. Right? A normal person can do that. A person that's an impulsive sex criminal cannot do that. He doesn't do that. They don't do that. What they do is say, F it, I'm gonna do it anyway. I see all these cameras here. I know they got my plates, but F it, I really want this little boy. I really want this little girl. I'm gonna snatch her and put her in the car, or whatever they're gonna do, whatever they do, right? I really want this lady. In their head, they're able to create this whole narrative in their own head, right? She wore this dress for me. And so I'm going to just take it. And then once I take it from her, then we're going to fall madly in love because she's going to say, oh, you art me so good. Now I'm in love with you. Some men have that crazy fantasy going in their head, right? It's ridiculous. The best you can do when you're having sex with somebody is to get their mind. Just to make you put them on an X for a 3-day period, right? Right? You can get them for 3 days. After that third day, your mojo is gonna wear off. They're gonna come into themselves saying, "What am I doing, man? What am I doing? I got to get back to work. I got to go back to work. I got to go do." But for them 3 days, you might got them, right? Some of y'all, for that one day, you ain't have 1 day in you, right? But you got them, right? But once they start coming back to themselves, they start saying, "Uh-oh, I got to get back to work. I got to get back on my regular program," right? But anyway, let's get back to Arshawn and the crew. Let me move it along a little bit, man, because I want to get to the point where they were talking about some of these things.
Pay for a background check, or maybe not even know how to do one.
Okay. All right. Now, we're on the second thing, which is the branding, right? They say they're gonna give you a scarlet letter, right? Guys, remember the book, The Scarlet Letter, right? Where they said the girls was witches, right? Oh man, they said these little girls that they was molesting and testing and molesting, they would, if the girls start telling what they was doing, the preachers were doing, the girls would say, "Hey, this person's a witch. They talking crazy," right? We gotta give them the witch test. What's the witch test, Clarence? Well, the white folks, the good white folks in Salem, North Carolina said, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna dunk you under the water. And we're gonna hold you down there for 5 or 10 minutes. If you're still alive when we pull you back up, then we know you're a witch. But if you dead, then we know you a real person and your soul went to God. Can you imagine that? They say, hey, we're going to hold you down under this water. We're going to dunk you in this water. Sim, come here. We're going to dunk you in this water. We're going to find out if you're a warlock, Sim. We're going to hold you under this water for 10 minutes. When you see you not moving no more, we're going to pull you up. If you still alive, when we know you're a warlock, and we gotta take you out. But if you dead, then we know you was a good person and you went to heaven. Oh man. Sim said, I do like the branding right on the forehead. No, Sim, can't do that, man. I'm gonna explain to you why. But Negro said there are branded. Sex offenders must be registered and open to the community to view. Yeah. But the branding part, see, I have a different, because see, what happens is if you brand people and they are branded, then it's like they can never get over the crime, right? Let's say you got a dude that just made a bad mistake, right? Because there's levels to this stuff, right? There's people that's out there really jumping on children. Then there was a dude that I saw a couple weeks ago. I saw in a video. He was 17. The girl was 14. He got, what, I think 11 years? She was 14 years old. He was 17. They tried him as an adult. 11 years. Right? Now, do I think 17-year-old should be jumping on a 14-year-old? No, I don't. But, see, somewhere in there, might have, it might have some mitigating circumstances in there because the ages are so close. But the older person is always going to get charged with the crime, right? But see, this might be some mitigating circumstances there. The guy never denied that they had sex. Never denied that. And he never denied when he found out. I think they got him. They popped him because this started when she was 12. It started when she was 12 and he was 15. And it progressed for 2 years. But here's why branding's not going to work. See, we're doing that now, right? And now you got places where the sex offenders aren't allowed, and you got them pushed out over the river, pushed out in tent camps, or living in motorhomes or whatever, right? But eventually, if that keeps up, it's going to be a bad situation because eventually they're going to have it so that you can get popped for almost anything, right? And I'm not talking about the dudes that did, because I say, man, why have these guys walking around? If they did something to a kid, let's lock their ass up. I'm willing to pay, as a taxpayer, I'm willing to pay to have that person behind bars. I have no problem with that. And if we're going to change the law, if we're going to give them the needle, if they're a repeat offender and they just cannot stop themselves, right? Remember, there was a show called New York Undercover, right? And it was a dude that was, he was jumping on kids, man. He denied it the whole show. Right? And finally they caught him. Right? They denied him, right? And he had some of the people thinking, well, maybe he ain't the guy. It was only, I think, one person that was like, nah, he's the dude. But everybody else was like, well, he might be, but I don't know, And then they was like, nah, that one dude was like, nah, he's your dude. I think it was Malik Yoba. He's that dude. Finally, at the end, they caught him. He ran to the top of a building. They went up there and he was threatening to jump from the top of the building. And they said, hey, man, come on down. Let's talk about it and everything. And the dude jumped. He said, if you guys can't stop me from doing this and I can't stop myself, then this is the only way to go. And he jumped off the building. I think like a 12 or 14-story building. Right? Remember the old joke? Guy jumps off the building. Halfway down, somebody stick their head out the window and say, how's it going? Guy says, so far, so good. Right? Right? So we got to get more involved, y'all. We got to get more involved. We can't not allow these people to be out here, right? And the brand, I mean, out here without us men being more involved. But right, Sim, see, man, that's another good point, is that some will claim it's mental disorder, right? Remember? Alcoholism, man, when back in the 70s, I don't know how old you are, Sim, but me, I'm 55, man. Back in the 70s and the 60s and 70s, if you wasn't no alcoholic, you was a drunk. If you got drunk from alcohol, you was a drunk. You was a drunk. You was just a drunk. But if enough white people get it, have that issue, now it's a disease. I'm 36. Now it's a disease, right? Now it's a treatable disease. You can't be fired because you got an alcohol problem, right? They gotta try to get you some help. It's a disease. You can say, no, you discriminated against me because I got a chronic condition. Back in the 70s, man, you was just a drunk. You was just a drunk. Well, I see that enough of these chomo dudes are like you said, Sim. I believe you're right. I think that at some point, they're going to say, I'm sick. Well, we know you're sick, but they're going to say, nah, I got a disease. I got a disease. It's a disease. The only reason why they ain't doing that now is because they make so much money off the registration fees. Some of these states, man, they charge them. They have to register every 6 months, and they got to pay something like $200 or $300 every time they go in to register. They make a ton of money off of this, and it does no good. It does. What actually since registration has become nationwide, has sex crime gone down? No, it's increased, right? It's increased, probably tenfold. So registration is not deterring crime, right? Sim said, grown folks, baby bottle. Right? But the point is, we want it to stop. We want this type of behavior to stop. How do we get it to stop? That's the magic question. That's the magic question. How do we get this kind of behavior to stop? I think Arshawn and them had a good, if you guys want to see more in-depth conversation, because they had a really good conversation, going over to Critically Drinking, man. I'm just throwing my 2 cents in there as well. You know what I mean? Some of this stuff I didn't all the way agree with. I think it's a good premise to try to find a solution. That's not where I'm pushing back. I'm pushing back on some of the things because I'm looking at it saying, now we're trying to deter people from doing this, and we can see that registration and public we call it ridicule does not stop this stuff. It doesn't make it stop. The only one true factor that makes this stuff slow down is the involvement of the fathers. The fathers' more involvement, that has a remarkable, and the dude said it, they have a remarkable rate of leaving kids alone when the father's involved. Really, 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 really. Shout out to Sophia. Glad to see you in the building, sis. Glad to see you in the building, girl. Good to see you, beloved. Negro said, people don't utilize the information. They don't use the resource that they don't know. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But like I said, these type of people that we talking about are not rational people. Like rational person would say, this, I might get hurt doing this thing here. I might end up in prison doing this thing here. I'm not going to do it at all. See, chumos don't think like that. Right? The impulsiveness just takes over. Right? They just impulsive and they just say, forget it, I'm going to do it. Right? No matter what the consequence may be. It's worth it. This kid is worth it. I'm going to throw him in, I'm snatch him up and throw him in the car or whatever, right? You know how many kids go missing every day? You guys know how many kids go missing every day all across the country? They just go missing. Never to be heard from ever again. Why is that? Now, those of us in here, we are, most of us are thinking people, right? We on it. We know, hey, I got to be on it. And if the father's not around, you as a mother, you got to do double duty. You got to do double duty. Because these type of people need to see us. They need to know, hey man, there's going to be somebody you got to answer to. And what they don't want is the answer to a human being. They'll answer to the court system. They don't want to answer to a human being calling them out on the carpet. Or somebody, or to deal with somebody, because they know what they're doing is wrong. They know it puts them at a disadvantage when a confrontation occurs. They're at a huge disadvantage because they have no leg to stand on. But even knowing all of this information, they're still willing to do it. Maybe this is a conversation I need to get involved with. I can't get involved with it because I'm at work by when Arshawn is when Arshawn is we call that broadcasting. Maybe I'll bring him over here and invite the crew on over here, and we could talk about it because I think those are good options. Those are options, good options. But I just think that we got to look at what we're doing, and if we're really serious. Now, punishing people, yeah, we could. There's a way to punish people, right? How you punish them? You got to give them longer prison sentences. Don't give them good time, right? Your crime involved a person under the age of so and so and so, such and such, right? Okay, then you don't get no good time, and you're a repeat offender. You don't get good time. You got to play this one all the way out, right? Anyway, let's do a little bit more Arshawn, and then we're gonna call it a night, y'all. We're gonna call it a day.
So I think we need physical markers that you've done something terrible, and if he don't have a penis, that's very obvious, and he has a brand on his head or neck.
Jeez,
can't miss that one.
I agree with Bree. I have zero tolerance for people that hurt children. Period. LG Patrice in the building. I can period. How do y'all say the period with the T on the end? Period. Like you add a
period. It's really like, it's not really a T. It's just like a period. It's like a pause, like a sound.
I love us Black folks. We be adding spice to everything. I love it.
Everything.
Yeah, it's because my daughter name has that T after a vowel. Like, and it's more like a pause. Like it kind of denotes like a pause in between instead of more so.
Okay. I mean, you can hire a lawyer or police, and they can pull anyone's data from social media for you if you really need to get information.
Right. That's like
easier. We should be able to get an app right quick, and because when you're at the club and you're thinking about hanging out with somebody, who's going to the police and he looking good, smelling good, and all that. I should be able to like get on my phone, like, let me see what you're. Oh, wow, no, I'm doing that. No, thank you.
I mean, there's right to some extent you can do like it's easy. Like if you know someone's name, you can search mug shots, inmate reports. I mean, I know how to do it. but everybody don't know how to do
finger
that.
right here, please. I need you to scan your finger. Let me pull this report right quick.
Yeah, some kind of something.
You know.
I don't know.
So what are some more strengths? People in the chat as well, and what are some weaknesses?
Hard to come up with strengths. The weaknesses are easy, but the strengths, ooh.
I think we got some good strengths.
I think we did real good with the strengths.
Those are some like the strength. Those are some strong strengths. Those are some strengthy strengths. Like those are like.
I think the weakness is like human mutilation. That is still human.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all to go over to check out Critically Drinking. Go over there and check out the whole stream. It's a good stream. Good stream. I agree with a lot of what they said. I'm just pushing back on a little bit of stuff that I push back on. You know, I know Arshawn will come back and push back on me, right? So it ain't no thing. I have no problem with the pushback. But anyway, yeah, man, go check it out. Now, before I get out of here, because we're gonna get out, we're gonna close the shop up early tonight. Anybody have any questions about anything that we was talking about today or in the past couple of days or past couple of times? Anybody have any questions? Because, you know what I'm saying? Clarence, are you out to get the boss camp? I'm not out to get the boss camp. I have nothing against the boss camp. Actually, I don't. I make fun of them just like I used to do with the mothership. I make fun of them, but I ain't got I'm not like, oh, I hate them. I want them to not succeed. I hope they do succeed. I just hope they get better at giving out more better vetted information. I think they give out information that's that's tailor-made for them, and they don't realize that people have all kind of different marriages out here, man. They got all kind of different marriages out here, and everybody ain't gonna put all their money in a pot, because it ain't gonna work if they do that, right? Maybe one person has a compulsion to spend money, and if they put everything in one pot, the one person might go out and spend everything, right? I mean, it just marriages, and the other person's waiting for the maturity to kick in, so that person won't do that no more. See, sometimes, man, it just depends. So I'm not here. I can give marriage advice, but I can only give structural advice. When it comes to how to run your household, that's when I can't tell you how to run your household. No more than one single person go to another single person and say, this is how you do it. This is where you put the kitty litter. This is where you put the dog food. I'm going to put it where I need to put it to make it work for me, right? So I don't have nothing against the boss camp. Man, may God bless them. May they, go forth. Hopefully they can take a little kidding, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll be kidding. But, in reality, I hope that they are, they take a good look at their situation and they start being more compatible with the average person. I don't think that their message is compatible to the average person, but obviously some people do. Hey, this person got 12,000 subscribers. I got 798, right? Some people left because they get mad at me because I went in on the boss camp. I didn't even go in, man. I mean, I just repeated what the head boss said, the heathen boss said, right? I ain't go in on them at all, right? I ain't talk about them personally or nothing like that. Just don't like I just disagree with structurally some of the things that they do. I think the way they word their message, a lot of it's not going to get out there because of the way they present it, right? It's the way they present their message has some structural issues to it. But other than that, I don't have no problem with them. I wish them well, right? Sim said, bro, C, you got to check out the dude called Eric Mays, a councilman from Detroit. OG is right. We got to go to our district meetings because they make the rules for our area. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right, Sim. Well, Patrice been saying this for 2 years, right? She's been saying that, at least she's been saying it here for 2 years, right? But I've been saying the same thing. How you gonna get mad? It's like, you know what it reminds me of, Sim? It reminds me of these dudes that say, child support is so bad, and the family court is shaped around the woman, right? Okay, so when you say, well, did you vote for any of these judges? No, I don't vote. But women do vote. And usually at about 5-1, women vote 5-1 over men. Who do you think these judges are going to be more sympathetic to if the women are voting for them? Of course, these judges, they're going to be sympathetic to their base. And if the women are the one that voted them in office, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. They're going to be more sympathetic to them. If you come in and you vote and you vote and you vote somebody in that you want to do right, I don't know how familiar you are with Los Angeles, but we had a district attorney named Jackie Lacey, a sister. She was very pro-police. She was very pro-police, right? You know, she was very pro-police. She was always, I would say she was looking the other way, but she was definitely slow to prosecute any police wrongdoing, right? But at the same time, you know, she would prosecute cash on the street, right? Well, the police had did so many different things that Jackie Lacey didn't charge them with, that they had a special election. They said, we're going to get out here, and this dude, I think it's Gil Gascon. No, it's Gil Gascon. Gascon. Anyway, this dude, man, they elected this dude in a special election, got rid of the sister, and put this dude Gascon in the office. And this dude is 1,000 times worse than Jackie Lacey was. 1,000 times worse. I mean, he basically let the criminals run in the street, man. Because he letting the criminals run the whole thing, right? And the people was like, man, we gotta get rid of Jackie Lacey. She's, this and that. They wish they had Jackie Lacey back in office now. They wish they did. This dude Gascon is 1,000 times worse than her. But y'all voted her in. Y'all voted him in. They're like, we got to get rid of Jackie Lacey. So all these women got together and they voted Jackie Lacey out of office. Now you got to do Gascon in there, and Gascon is 1,000 times worse than Jackie Lacey. 1,000 times worse. Right? But at least they can say they voted. We as men, we don't vote. You don't vote. How the hell are you going to be mad? Just like you mad because they got this curriculum at your school, but you don't go to the school meetings to find out what they voting on to bring a curriculum in. You just get mad because you hear your child saying, yeah, we got a LGBT book we reading. You're like, what? But instead of going down to school meetings, you said, oh man, I don't need to go to school meetings, man. I don't need to go, man. I got my wife, I got my side piece, I got my kids, I got my side pieces, kids, take care. I got so much work, I got so much stuff. I got her car note, I got my car note, I got my wife's car note. I got so much stuff to deal with. Clarence, I just ain't got time to go to these meetings, man. Same thing with the women, right? I got my husband, I got my side dude. You know what I'm saying? I got to run between both of them. I got the kids, I got his kids, right? I got so much stuff to do. I got to clean his apartment. I got to vacuum his apartment. I got to, you know what I'm saying? I got stuff I got to do. I got to clean my own house. Clarence, I ain't got time to go down there. Okay. I could take that back about women, man, because women will find the time. Women, they do all that stuff. They got the side dude and everything. They'll find time to get down there to that school, right? It's men, man. We won't, man. We laying up under that side piece or doing something else nefarious, right? Come on, y'all. We got to get back in the game, man. Black men, especially, in particular. We got to get back in the game, y'all, because the world's going to go as we go, right? That's why I'm always telling y'all about black boys, because black boys grow up to be black men. And if the black boys are corrupted at the 3rd grade level, at the 2nd grade level, if they're corrupted, guess what? They take that corruption into adulthood, right? Now they're bent. They're not straight like they're supposed to be. They're bent, right? So they don't know what they see. If they were straight, they would go straight to their purpose, right? They would be pursuing their purpose. What's their purpose? I don't know. But they will be pursuing that. But why so many people are out here confused on jobs they don't like, in relationships with people they don't like? Because they don't know what their mission is. We all got a mission in life, right? We all got a mission, y'all. Get on your mission. Get on your mission. Right? But Clarence, my husband gonna leave me. Well, that's a decision you got to deal with. But I know you'll be happy on your mission. If your husband really loves you, why would he leave you when he realized you got this mission and you got this something in your heart that's crying to get out? Why would he leave you? And if he gonna leave you because you got a good mission, I'm only telling you what I would do. I would say to myself, does this person really love me? Why would they leave me when they know my mission makes me happy? It's a righteous cause, and it makes me happy. Makes my heart sing. Right? Why you think my wife just leave me alone, man? Because we already been through it. She know. I'm born to do this. I'm born to try to help men, help young men in particular, but men of any kind, try to help them, get them good information so they can live better lives. That's what I'm born to do. And I'm gonna be trying to do it. I'm gonna be trying to do it. I might mess up. I might do it wrong. I might do this wrong or mess this up, but I'm gonna be trying. I'm gonna be trying to do it. Because I can sleep at night, man. I can look myself in the mirror and say, you gave it a good shot today, Clarence. But what kind of person would I be, man, if I wasn't on my mission? How could I sleep at night? Of course. You know what's gonna happen when you tell your husband you got a mission? You know what's gonna happen when you tell your wife you got a mission? They're gonna look at it like this. What does this mean to me? How's this gonna affect me? And that's normal. That's what the other person's gonna do. They're gonna say, how's this gonna affect me? Is this person gonna put me away because they got this mission? Are they gonna start meeting other people and they're gonna meet somebody and then, next thing you know, they got some kind of romantic relationship going on? That's a fear in all of us, right? That's a fear in all of us. But let me tell you what happens, man. At a certain point, you don't worry about it no more. If I got a job to do and this person's gonna go, they're gonna go. Yeah, you ain't gonna like it. Yeah, you're gonna be hurt for a minute. But what's worse? Your husband leaving you or you never taking the time to chase your mission? What's worse? What kind of person you gonna be with your mission locked up in your heart? You got a job to do and you know you got this job to do. God gave you that job to do and you turned your back on that job. How you gonna sleep? How you gonna eat? That kind of thing is gonna drive you crazy. Why do you think people have side pieces in the first place? They got side pieces because they're looking for peace from somewhere. They want peace from somewhere. And they too scared to chase their real mission, so they go get a side piece. They go get a crutch. Instead of learning how to run, they get a crutch and learn how to limp through life. I know, man. I know. See, Brooklyn, you get deep on this, but I have to, cause I'm like Jesus getting that bread and getting that fish out that bag. I never have to worry about what I got to talk to y'all about, because God always puts something in that bag for me to pull out. It's always something there. Yeah. Reason peace comes from within. And where does within come from? That mission that you got in your heart, that's in you. You might have a mission just to be a good auntie, a good grandma, a good mother, that might be your mission. Now, are you supposed to just drop everything and just do that? No, you got other things you got to do, right? Even Jesus had a job. Even Jesus had a job. You got other things you're going to have to do. You got to take care of yourself. But the job wasn't Jesus' mission. His mission was to let people know that even though they was not of this bloodline and of that bloodline, that wasn't the critical issue. The critical issue was you obeying this word. That's the critical issue. I told y'all, right? But you got a man, you can't, and a man that knows his mission can't separate him from. You can't separate. When you separate the man from the mission, the man dies. The man dies inside. He dies. He ain't the same man no more. You want to see his heart sing? Help him get it to his mission. You want to see a woman's heart sing? Help her to achieve her mission. Help a woman achieve her mission. See what happens. It's nothing like a woman whose heart is singing. You know how much she gonna appreciate you for setting up an environment for her to achieve her mission? I'm talking about a righteous mission. I'm not talking about nothing crazy, right? We going on girls. We gonna go on a girls trip, and we gonna hit Jamaica, then St. Croix, then here, then there, then there. And I know there's a Winston at every stop. No, we ain't talking about nothing crazy like that. Some of our sisters are brilliant. We got brilliant sisters among us. Brilliant. They got good ideas, man. And if they was just put in the right circumstance to be able to make that idea flourish, they could save some lives. Right? Remember that movie? What's that movie with the It's a Good Life? That movie with the dude that wished that he was never born. Christmas Carol or whatever it's called. He wished he wasn't born, right? So he wasn't born. So they showed him what life would be like if he wasn't born. And his brother died because when he was little, he pulled his brother out of the water. So, but his brother died because he wasn't born, and his parents were like, I mean, everything was all bad, right? Everything was all bad. Right? But the point is, man, we gotta encourage each other. We got to encourage each other, men and women. We got to encourage each other. Now I'm gonna keep on pushing this stuff because you ain't gonna get this nowhere else. Thank you, Risa, for saying that last stream. You're not gonna get this nowhere else. None of these other people, they just gonna bark at you. You're wrong. You're wrong. Right? They just gonna bark at you and tell you, you this and you that and you this, you that. But I'm married, so I'm above that. but you this and you that, and you ain't got nothing to say to me because you ain't married, right? I don't just disqualify somebody. Now, I'll tell you what, when I will disqualify someone, when I hear bad advice, that's when I'm gonna disqualify you. I don't think you have to be married to give good advice, good marriage advice. I just think that it's more likely that you will give bad advice if you haven't been married, if you had a poor experience. I think, in my opinion, mathematically, the likelihood of you giving out bad marriage advice and never being married is probably higher than somebody who's been married or is married and giving out advice. That's just my mathematical opinion, right? Anyway, man, let's get back to y'all having been on this mission. I'm going to ask you some serious questions, y'all. Because now we ain't playing no more. Are you on your mission? Are you doing the thing that you want to do, that you want to leave a mark on this planet? Are you doing that thing? Are you making a way for yourself? Are you making a way where you can find your mission? Clarence, women don't have a mission. A woman's place is in the house. You're right. Woman's place is in the house, so is a man's. So is a man's. And we both got missions. We both got missions. And hopefully in a good, really good relationship, you can help her with her mission and she can help you with your mission. That's a real good relationship right there. We all pulling for each other. The bad relationships is when people ain't pulling for each other, right? One person's like, hey, everybody just walk my way. And they just assume that nobody else has no mission, or even if they do have a mission, my mission is paramount and overrides yours, so get with the program. Nah. Sister Sophia said, name calling a negative emotion isn't cool at all. We are so-called adults. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Sister Sophia. Can't be condescending to our people, man. Our people have been through that too much. We got to talk to our people, man. At least, try to encourage them to be adults and handle stuff like adults. But if we talk down to them just because you got a nice fancy car in the driveway or a nice big house or a husband, and you talking to people that don't have a husband, and you saying to them, because I got a husband, I'm all knowing, right? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. As we saw a couple weeks ago, right? The emperor's clothes was snatched off, right? The emperor's clothes was snatched off, right? And we found out that the emperor walks around, lives with a heathen, right? I'm just kidding, man. I don't mean nothing bad. I hope the boss camp is so successful. I just hope it's with the truth. I hope it's with the truth. I hope if they putting out bad information, some kind of way that gets corrected some kind of way. But if not, hey, more power to you. I just know at a certain point, you keep putting out bad information. At a certain point, somebody gonna pull your car like you got your car pulled 2 weeks ago, and you're gonna get your car pulled again. You're gonna get your car pulled again. You keep running out there saying this stuff that this life-damaging advice, go get your car pulled. So maybe an overview maybe everybody needs to sit down and look at these perspectives and the way things are being communicated and say, maybe we can do this better. Maybe we can do this better. That way we can accomplish more stuff. Just like I have to here, right? There were some things I had to do, right? Hurt my heart, man. And some people I had to tell them, hey, look, maybe you shouldn't come here no more, because we're not going to allow this type of behavior here, right? Well, I'm a man. I'll do what I want to do. I don't change for nobody. Okay, dog. I ain't gonna try to get you to change, but we can't have somebody sitting over here talking for 30 minutes uninterrupted. We just can't do that. Can't have people. You ain't gonna have no show if you have people up here talking for 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes uninterrupted, right? That's not gonna work. So I had to check some people, sit some people down and say, hey man, maybe you should come over here. Some people had to sit down and say, hey man, that trolling ain't gonna work over here. Can't do that here, man. Probably better if we just, I stay off your platform, you stay off mine. Okay. Every now and then we wish each other well and all of that, but I had to do it. So sometimes you like these people. Sometimes you like them, right? But you got to do it, right? Got to do it. Because I got a job. I got a mission here, man. We're trying to save some of these young men. And ultimately save the young women as well, right? Because if the young men out there create a standard by which wives will have to, and they only create a standard by which they are willing to engage females, then to be sexually selected, the females are going to have to step up to the plate. They're going to have to step up to the plate to be involved in the sexual selection process. If they're going to be heterosexually dating. Now, if they're lesbians, this is the irrelevant conversation. I'm talking about the heterosexual community. If they want to be sexually selected, if the young men say, okay, we are not going to be involved with women that, like Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, we done with that. We only looking for women that got some type of sense in their head. They talking right, and they carrying themselves a certain way. And the women go into these clubs, bars and clubs, and ain't nobody in there but the bartender, ain't no penis in there but the bartender's penis. All you see is tacos all over the place. Eventually, they're going to say, you know what? Who wants to be at a sausage party? Nobody wants to be at a sausage party. Likewise, nobody wants to be at a taco party, right? Should be a nice little mix of tacos and hot dogs, right? Oh, man. Sister Sophia said, have mercy on the brother, but may everyone pray that John Morant get himself together. I don't get it. Sorry for being up on the matter. No. It's cool. John Morant, guys like him and Mikey Williams, man, millionaires. Mikey Williams making money in high school. He got endorsements in high school. And he got himself caught up with a gun charge. I mean, just stupid. These guys are just all because they want to keep it real. This keep it real culture, the keep it real culture, the no snitching culture, killing us. Don't worry, Sister Sophia. I'm going to let you get away with it. Just you. Let you get away with it. But it's killing us. This is killing us. But I might discuss that a little later, Sophia. But bless your heart. But we got to get these young men to a certain level. We got to get them to a certain level and get them to teach them that, yeah, it's very sexually arousing when you see a woman with, her breasts popping out and her butt popping out and she got the gait in her walk. That's very alluring, right? Elijah Muhammad said, don't stare at the black woman. He said, don't stare at her movements. He said, don't stare at her. Her movements are hypnotic. I'm going to say that again. He said, don't stare at the black woman. He said, our movements are hypnotic. So yeah, I understand, man. You can look at a woman and you can say, man, oh my God, look at how she move. Oh my God. Not only she look good, not only does she smell good, but now she moving. Her movement is alluring, right? But he told us not to stare at them because we're going to get caught up. You're going to get caught up. You go running to try to talk to somebody you ain't got no business talking to. Remember, fool, you got a wife. You got a wife. All right, family, I'm gonna shut up because I'm always talking about love. I'm always talking about relationships. I'm always talking about how we could do better, and that's what I want us to do. I don't wish nothing bad on nobody. The boss camp, anti-Dan, I don't wish nothing no bad on none of these people. I just wish they would give better advice, but they won't listen to me. That's why I never show up. Well, I know I ain't welcome on the boss channel, but I probably ain't welcome on the Anti-Daniels channel either. Probably, I done slipped into the mothership a couple of times when they didn't realize who I was at first, right? But I know I never get on the boss channel or the Anti-Daniels channel. So hopefully, man, maybe one day, somebody will approach those people and tell them, hey, man, maybe if you approach things a different way, you get a different result. Maybe, right? But until then, y'all, Sister Sophia says exactly correct. But we fantasize and get our groove back, or she say no, then an argument pursue. See, that's what I'm saying, Sister Sophia. We gotta create the standard in young men. In young men, we got to create the standard where I'm not going to deal with a sister that's, that has too many issues. If she got too many issues, yeah, we all got issues. So I'm not going to say, oh, well, you're going to wait for a perfect person. There is no perfect person out there. Everybody has issues, but it got to be an issue that you can work with, that you got the tools to work with, right? You got the patience to work with this issue, right? You can't have real serious issues and you not a clinician or something like that. You don't know what you're doing. Can't do it. Can't do it. Too much pressure to put on somebody to say, oh, we're gonna have these issues. You can handle all these issues. No, some guys can't. That's why you got to really be serious about what you want in a relationship, right? You got to have a mission, and you should know what your mission is before you get married. Before you get married, you should know what your mission is. That way, you ain't springing it up on somebody once you get them, sign them up on the line, right? You sign them up on the dotted line, then all of a sudden, whoop, this is my mission. I didn't tell you about that. It's going to require, several years of schooling. It's going to require me to be gone. It's going to require this, require that. That's not fair to somebody, right? Best thing to do is say, hey, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer, whatever, right? It's going to require me to go to school. It's going to require me to intern. I'm going to be gone a lot. But all I want is you. All I want is you in my love life. Right? We got to just be careful out here, man. I told my son today there's 3 types of people that you want to watch out for. Right? Just 3, pretty much there's 3 types of women. Because we were talking about his daughter's mother, right? And I said there's 3 types of women. There's just a crazy woman, right? She's just crazy. She say whatever, right? Whatever come to her mind, she say it. Whatever she feel like doing, she do it. That's woman number 1. Watch out for that woman. There's woman number 2. They're in a relationship. They're in a relationship. And they're in a relationship and they're always complaining about different things. They want things to change, right? They're always telling you, hey, I want this to change. We're not doing this. Okay. They always have a complaint, right? Because there's always some issue that they're talking about that they bring it to your attention. You see it as nagging, right? But they bring it to your attention. Then I said there's a third woman. I said the second woman and the third woman, they're married. They're married women, right? So the second woman is married and she's always bringing up issues. But the third woman never brings up an issue. Whatever issue it's not being dealt with, she goes and deals with it on her own. Right? She goes to deal with it on her own. She got to get you some help. She'll get you some help, right? If she got to go get you some help, she ain't gonna say nothing to you. It's like, remember that song "Creep" by TLC, right? Right? If he knew what I did, he couldn't handle it, so I choose to keep him protected, right? Right? How about you keeping him protected by not, being out there with all the fellas, right? How about that one? I said, of these three women, which one is the most dangerous of them all? He said, the ghetto one. I said, no. I said, the most dangerous one of all is the one that you married to that doesn't say anything about any issue. They don't say nothing. They don't raise no issue with you. They don't say, oh, this is an issue, this is an issue. They don't say, hey, how can we fix this? They're not interested in fixing nothing no more. They pass that point and they just get you some help. Right? I'll just get you some help. Right? You ain't taking me to the movies? I'll get you some help. You ain't taking me, you ain't spending no time with me? I'll just get you some help. Right? I said, of these three women, which one of these three is the most dangerous? And I told him, I said, no, it's the one that's not going to say anything to you. That's dangerous. No communication is worse than bad communication. Because at least in bad communication, the issues are being brought up. No communication, you don't even know what's going on. You don't even know what's going on. And by the time you figure it out, this girl has already done what she want to do. So I was trying to tell him, I said, always make sure that you got a woman that's going to tell you when they don't like something or when there's an issue pops up. Anyway, I'm going on and on and on. I'm about to get out of here, y'all. I love y'all, man. Let me read Sis Sophia. She said, I lost my BC, my late father made sure I didn't go anywhere unescorted. Regular men high value Islamic thoughts have Islamic thoughts, but I'm Christian, right? He said, yep, I said it. Being a wife comes with grace and elegance, though. I cannot say nothing about the matter, but I know what you said. Well, Sis Sophia, we learn. As we get older, we learn, right? Sometimes we got a preconceived conception of what being a wife is, right? Some of us have a preconceived idea of what being a husband is, right? When we really don't know. You don't have no idea till you actually in it, right? Until you in it. Marriage is something like it's kind of thing where you got to actually be in it. Because see, when you just living with somebody or you just boyfriend and girlfriend, man, you can say, man, this ain't working for me. I'm out. Peace. Can't do that in a marriage, right? Not that simple. You're a lot more obligated. You got a lot more obligation in a marriage, man. Marriage, you got to be like, you have an incentive to try to work the thing out, right? Because you committed. You gave your word. Remember, you signed that marriage certificate. You gave your word that you would try to do everything you can to make sure this thing would go right. Sis Sophia said, NOI bred me, though. I understood my task. Oh, man. Sis Sophia said she was an MGT. I mean, the NOI, when I got into the NOI probably about 21. Yeah, probably about 21. I was 21, 22, somewhere in there, right? And changed my life, changed my thinking, right? I was always a pretty good dude, but I had my issues. But the nation started that work on me. Now that's me. Is the nation for everybody? Absolutely not. It's not for everybody. It's not. That level of discipline is not for everybody, right? But does that mean you can't follow God's teaching? No, that just the nation just a setup. It's a certain setup for a certain type of people that need that lots of discipline, that need high levels of accountability, right? That's what that's set up for, right? Everybody don't need that. Some people, man, they don't need to be, they on their own already are thankful to God, worship God. They're already on their own, right? But I didn't know how to do that, man. When I came to the nation, man, I was a Negro. I came walking in there as a Negro, right? Little by little, they worked on me, little by, and they're still working on me. 30 years later, they're still working on me, right? But we all got our own spiritual journey. We all got our own spiritual journey. We all gotta have our own spiritual journey. Would I tell anybody to be in a nation? No, I wouldn't tell you to be in a nation. What I would tell you to do is follow God's path for you. Now, this is what I'm doing. Now, if you got a question about it, you can ask me. I'll tell you I'll tell you how it worked for me. But that don't mean it's gonna work for you. That don't mean it's gonna work for you. Maybe the Christian path will work for you. Maybe the Buddhist path will work for you. Maybe the Jewish path will work for you. Maybe the Hebrew path will work for you. Right? So it just depends. It just depends on where you at. Anyway, y'all, man, y'all are the beloved, man. You know, I hope that when I'm giving y'all this little extra stuff, that y'all able to use it, y'all able to deal with it, y'all able to, you know, use it to improve y'all life, or even just think about, have something to think about. You know what, bro? See, I didn't even think about it like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even think about it like that. Maybe you right, or maybe you wrong. Let me, bro. See, I'm gonna tell you, do like Sim. Send me an email saying, "Oh, maybe here's where you wrong, Clarence." Or New Growth, right? Here's where you wrong, Clarence. Right? I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't look at it like, oh man, they disagree with me. Now I don't like them because they did. Man, come on, that's juvenile. Me and Rico disagree all the time, man. A lot. I'll say all the time, but a lot. We will argue like cats and dogs, and then we'd be like, all right, man, I'll talk to you later. All right, man, I'll talk to you later. Right? Because it ain't I don't be like, oh man, our relationship is over now because he didn't disagree. He didn't agree with me. Oh, man, come on, man. Dude just cussed me out for 45 minutes on Monday. Clarence, you ought to be with your family. Come on. That's why I'm cutting this for short. Because he was right. I couldn't argue with him on that. Well, thank you, Sister Sophia. Appreciate you. Risa said, in case the Lord comes before we meet again, I love each one of you and my family. Same here, Risa. Appreciate that. It was beautiful. So I couldn't say it better myself. So on that note, we are going to wrap it up, y'all. Now, I will not be here on Saturday. Sunday, I probably will be here. Unless something major happens, I probably will be here, right? So I want to see y'all if y'all can make it. If y'all can't make it, that's cool. Or if you can just pop in, give me a like and pop out, that'll be cool. But, you know, think about the things I'm talking about, man. Think about the things I'm talking about. And think about them for yourself. You know, the things that can apply to you, use them. The things that can't apply to you, leave them on the table, right? Just leave it on the table, right? But the things that can apply, use them. All right, y'all, 10 in. I love all of y'all, man. I pray that everything, you know, your heart's desires get granted to you, you know, as long as you're willing to do the work, everything comes to you, right? We will be back here on Sunday. So I will see y'all. Oh, nobody came on the stage today. Nobody came on stage. So, but let me do the rundown first. The chat, strong performance from the chat. Shout out to the chat. Strong performance, very solid as always. Shout out to Emil. Shout out to Risa, the the resident sniper Risa Mill, man, and her running buddy M Mills, man, where they would just knock somebody out of the box in a heartbeat, right? I think M Mills would shoot first and ask questions later. Risa don't ask no questions. She just shoot. But shout out to both of those sisters, man. Good sisters, man. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Sister Sophia. Glad to have everybody in the building, man. All right, y'all. I will see all of y'all on Sunday. All right, y'all. Peace.